And what is up? Welcome back. It is Friday night, and you're here with the Average Boys podcast. Today, it's going to be a little bit different. It looks like it's just me by myself today, just good old fashioned crispy. It's good to see you guys. Welcome to 2023. As you know, it's been a rough year. 2022 is kind of weird. I want to say what's up to anybody that's watching the chat that's here. Yo, what's up, Alex? What's going on, man? Brian had a long day today. He was going to take a day off. He's kind of chilling. He's had a day. So, yeah, I'm going to be running it by myself today. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, it's been a pretty cool week. Nothing too crazy. Of course, there's some crazy news we're going to be talking about today. Nothing too wild. Of course, we had Jeremy Renner in the news. Of course, there's DC news. Of course, there's Marvel news. But today you're going to notice that I didn't bring anyone on today with me. And the reason why is because I'm going to challenge myself. I think 2023 is going to be an interesting year for all of us when it comes to the entertainment world. And I think there's skills that are needed to be able to journey on to the next stages and stuff like that. And I think one of my stages is I need to be able to be more comfortable in my own skin when it comes to doing this kind of stuff. I have cool history. I used to do stand-up comedy. I used to do all this stuff back in the day. And of course I teach martial arts and I get in front of everybody. What's up, Rob? How you doing, man? It's good to see you. As you notice, I'm by myself today. No guests, no nothing. I decided to attack this by myself. And the reason why is because I want to try to I guess test myself. I've been doing the podcasting for several years now. I do a lot of interviews with people when I get the opportunity at conventions to do it live and in front of people. But the idea is, of course, when it comes to the entertainment value of being online and streaming and doing all this stuff, I guess the easiest way to go is like a lot of people instantly try to gravitate towards doing something where it's like like streaming and video games and or drawing or doing some type of craft or something like that. But I've always felt that doing this type of media when it comes to content creating, where it's just you speaking in front, doing soapbox style stuff, it's pretty difficult because it's you being your own personal audience, and then of course speaking to the comment section or the people that are watching you, and then building off of that and stuff like that. But again, if you have a point to make, you have to continue making your conversation, and then of course paying attention to the comment section without it gravitating or taking your attention away from what it is that you're trying to do. So the idea is I wanted to be able to come on. I hit up a couple people and I was really testing myself to not do like an invite, like, oh shit, I'm going to be by myself. Come on the show with me so I don't feel weird. I think that we get enough content from our comment section that coming on and doing solo shouldn't be as rough or as hard. But I do thank you guys, and I want to make sure that you guys can come in, be a part of the conversation as usual. Shout out to my boy Brian. He's out there in Jersey. I don't know what he's doing, but he's probably relaxing, kicking back, having a cold one, and just killing it. So what's been going on with you guys this week? I hope you guys had a pretty cool week, an interesting introduction to 2023. I don't want to stay too long because of the fact that usually here on the show we do a 2-hour show. We used to do 3 hours. Of course, that was before that we knew about the time limit that we had and all that stuff. But I want to make sure I don't do too crazy. What's up, Vince? How we doing? Brian is not here tonight. He had a pretty rough day at work. He had a long day, and he asked me if he could just kind of kick back. And I said, cool. And I told him that I'd run this thing, and I didn't hit anybody up on purpose. I wanted to test myself to see if I can come and do a soapbox style podcast and kind of work with you guys and see if I can still run it solos. So thank you guys for jumping in with me and being a part of the show. I'm going to try to see if we can keep this going and give you guys some nerd news. I don't think I'm going to be able to carry on a 2-hour show, though. This is going to be pretty rough. Even this awkward idea of making sure I stay facing the camera is even awkward. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird to stay connected to the camera. And I know that's kind of like everybody had to do that during the pandemic situation, doing classes and doing stuff, but staying connected to the camera is a pretty weird thing because for me, it's just looking at a lens and I think it's awkward. And of course I have my computer stuff in front of me with all the things that I'm going to be talking about today. So my attention wants to gravitate towards there, but yeah, it's going to be kind of weird. Speaking about that, I don't know if anybody heard about this, but recently this deals with nerd news. So I'm going to bring this up. Let's go ahead and presets, share screen, Chrome. Let's go new tab. So in the new tab, I go here. AI, check this out. Of course, we've we've had this introduction and talks about AI before on the podcast. We talked about it just fairly and briefly, but it's something that I do want to talk about a little bit later in the podcast. So if when you guys are with me, we'll kind of bring that up because I want to get your guys' attention and your guys' ideas on that. But NVIDIA eye contact. I don't know if you guys saw this or if you guys are into this type of it still gravitates towards nerd stuff because it deals with technology. NVIDIA released this program recently called
NVIDIA Maxing Eye Contact.
What it does is it makes an AI generated photo of you looking at the camera. So you don't have to physically look at the camera. You can actually script or read script or do something like that. And the AI actually creates an image to make it look like you're staring at your camera. We were just talking about this right now. This is fucking wild, man. Oh, we're gonna be talking about that today, Vince. We're gonna be having a conversation about that today.
Next slide deck.
But check that out. So right now,
that maintaining eye contact during conversation encourages personal connection, understanding, and engagement.
Is not look, her eyes are off the camera, and then it switches.
Development kit
is that wild?
Publicly available.
So now, like while you guys are doing your Zoom meetings or anything like that, I'm having to stare at the camera. This program artificially creates your eyes so that it does it for you. That is insane. That's insane. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I wanted to show that to you guys real quick in case that's something that you guys need. In case you're doing Zoom calls or you're working at home and you need to make eye contact with your camera at all times. NVIDIA has this program called NVIDIA Maxine, which AI artificially creates this part of your eyes to make it look like you're constantly looking at the camera without needing to script off or look at something else. So just in case, you never know. But let's go ahead and get into conversations. Like I said, I don't think this show is going to go on too long, maybe about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. Thank you guys. But yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? Yeah, that's wild to me, man. Let's go. Let's start talking about our interesting conversation. Of course, I want to say to everybody real quick, welcome to 2023. It's good to see you all here. I'm glad you made it this far. Let's push hard. Let's do good. Let's get 2023 in a positive mindset and let's push hard. What are your goals? Put them in the comment section. Let us know what you guys are thinking about 2023 and what are your aspirations. Now, with that, 2023 brings us a good estimate of things that we are looking forward to. Probably not Alex. Alex is one of those guys that's like, man, do these movies nowadays, they're not doing so good. But I want to let you guys know that in 2023, the lineup looks like it's going to be for Marvel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Then it's going to go to Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3, The Spider-Verse, The Marvels, Kraven the Hunter, and that should be the last one. What's up, Juan? How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Yo, no dark mode on YouTube player. Oh, she's. I don't even know what that is. Dark mode on YouTube player? Does it have that? So I mean, I can't see the YouTube part. It separates it for me in like three different streams. So it's pretty hard for me. I can't really change that, man. Sorry that. But yeah, it looks like we'll be getting Ant-Man and the Quantumania February, Guardians of the Galaxy in May, the Spider-Verse in June, the Marvels in July, and Kraven the Hunter in October 6th of 2023. I give that comment 10 out of 10. That's awesome. So those are the films that we're going to be looking forward to this year when it comes to Marvel. What are out of those? Which ones are the ones that you guys are excited for? And when it comes to the DC universe, of course, we know the DC universe is kind of in shambles, but it looks like it's going to be Shazam in March, Shazam: Fury of the Gods. It's going to be The Flash, June 23rd, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit. And Blue Beetle, which is something I'm kind of looking forward to. The behind-the-scenes pictures of the costume looks amazing. The actor is the kid that plays Miguel from Cobra Kai. He's a great actor in that show. Really exciting to watch him step up into a full-length feature film. I don't know if he's ever done anything like that, so cool on him. And the last film of the year is going to be Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I have no idea what that's going to be about. Not really familiar with it, but December 25th. Ayo, what's up, my boy George? How you doing, man? Of course, letting you know our boy Brian's not here today. He's taking the day off, but shout out to Brian, my dude. We'll see him hopefully next week. Yeah, thank you, Alex. Fucking Pregnant Joker. Yeah, we'll probably bring that up too, man. We're going to bring that up also. But I wanted to make sure I drop this list really quick. I'll put it in the comment section just to let people know what we're looking forward to. And yeah, let me go ahead and put that in the comment section real quick so you guys can check it out. There you go. That is the list of all the films coming out in 2023. So far, what we got. And of course, into 2024, we're looking at Madame Web. Don't have any idea what that's going to be about. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. That should be the third movie of the split of the second one, which is coming out. And of course, the movie that I'm probably pretty excited for is going to be Captain America: New World Order and the Thunderbolts. Those are the movies that I'm kind of thinking about more when it comes to what's coming up. But yeah, that's going to be pretty wild. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Ezra Miller, but we got some stuff that we're going to talk about before that. Of course, something else we're going to talk about real quick. I just want to drop this just for you guys. Wakanda Forever, if you have not seen it, it's not too bad of a movie. It's actually pretty good. It finally got its release date for Disney Plus. We're looking at, I believe, February 1st. So if you haven't seen Wakanda Forever, it is coming out next month on Disney Plus. So make sure you guys check it out. It's a good film. I like to get you guys, those who haven't seen it, I like to get you guys reactions and reviews. Make sure you hit us up on that week when it comes out here on the podcast. So that way we got you guys information about it. Alex, goal for me are continuing dropping weight. Solid. Work on a few cosplays. Interesting. And start skateboarding in, but not doing anything crazy. That's pretty good. You know, I've kind of had the same idea too. Like, I get to the gym every day to work with my students at night where I teach my MMA classes. I do mitts. I do some wrestling with them. I do some grappling and clinch work. Of course, I do a minor bit of sparring because I got to keep myself active for the next couple of days because I'm there all week. And during the week, man, like midweek, I'm already super exhausted. I'm 41. I'll be 42 in August this year. I want to get more into my like my movement drills, like moving again, like doing cartwheels, and I don't know about doing flips, but doing some type of movements. What's up, Ham? How you doing, man? Good to see you, my dude. Welcome to 2023, my guy. And yeah, I want to get more into movement drills and stuff like that. So hopefully that's something I get to do as kind of, I guess, like a goal. I'm really not a big person when it comes to the whole New Year's resolution, New Year, new me kind of thing. Kind of more into, I just got to get shit done. That's really what it is. I talked about it last week, which was cool because I had a couple of people hit me up privately talking about the idea that I wanted to get into some type of book writing this year, or I wanted to create a kid's book that I had on the pipeline for a really long time. I got a lot of projects that I've been playing with, and I got to get those done, of course, first. But I do want to get into book writing, and I have a friend we have an event coming up next month. It's called Storytellers and Writers. They dropped an awesome amount of guests that they're going to be having. They have Hawks coming in for My Hero, Miracle for My Hero Academia. They got several other characters from one of the guys from Tokyo Revengers is coming to that story. Oh man, it's going to be super cool. I'm super excited. And yeah, man, I'm really excited for that event because, of course, we have our comic conventions and our convention shows that we normally have, our anime fests and South Texas Comic Cons and UCXs and stuff like that. But it's not every day that we get a convention that is dedicated to people who create the stories behind the scenes. And I think that's an amazing opportunity for us down here in the Valley because we got a lot of people who are getting into the book writing. Of course, there's a lot of push on social media when it comes to people writing ebooks. People writing get better books, fitness, finance, you name it. But there is a pretty cool push on people who are creators and want to create books that bring fantasy or it looks like my internet's acting up too. Great. That's fantastic. Yeah, not only am I solo today, but my internet wants to act up. Thank you, Spectrum, for doing that. Yeah, mobility drills are something that I'm really pushing on this year, so I hope I do well. And yeah, that's it. Vince Weaver says I got planned my birthday party for February 9th. Yeah, you do got to plan it, man. How old are you gonna be, Vince? That's a good question. That's a really hell of a question. I want to know. And going on to the next part of the conversation. So we understand February. What did I say? See, there's a part of me that's kind of nervous. When and where is that happening? Okay, Juan. So let me bring that up real quick. Actually, as a matter of fact, let me go to my friends, Caitlin. I'm going to go to my friend Caitlin's website. She's one of the authors from down here. She has an amazing book if you guys want to check her out. Caitlin Renteria. Let me go ahead and bring it up. Let me get to the, I'm going to get to the post. So Caitlin's book, if you guys are interested, is The Other Side of the Law. And there it is. And I'm going to open this up real quick for you guys so you can check it out. There we go, folks. It is right here. If you guys have a chance and if you got Facebook and you guys can get to it. I know most of you guys are checking this out either like on your cell phones or whatnot, but if you're on a computer or anywhere close to one, check this page out. Go like it. It's got 437 likes, 525 followers. I'm super excited about this event. Storytellers and Legends Conventions. It's going to be, of course, we had Michael, one of our best friends here on the show, one of the average boys himself practically, is Michael Betancourt. We've had him on the show a million times. He's going to be one of the guys running the show. Super excited. It's going to be in the Mission Event Center. Of course, Hawks, Zeno Robinson, they just announced him today. Aniris Kionis, who plays Miracle, badass. Oh, and of course, if you know me very well and you follow me on Instagram, this person plays Yelena from Attack on Titan, which is that weird face that I have, which I hope I get to meet this person because I'm going to have them take a picture with me of her making that face over my shoulder like she does to Armin in the comics. So I'm excited for that. Jalitza Delgado. Oh, nice. That's a great name. She'll be coming in also. And yeah, if you guys want to come check out this website, it's going to be, let's see the date. Oh, February 20th through the 26th is going to be a whole week long. When I heard about that being a whole week long, I was super blown away by that. That's super amazing. And it's going to be at the event center, which is 2425 Ruby Red Boulevard in Mission, Texas. So if you guys get an opportunity, make sure you guys go check out this event. It's going to be great. I am definitely going to be there at least the weekend. I don't know about during the week, but I'm going to try. If I could be there all week, I would totally be a try. But it's, of course, during the week, it's going to be for kids in high school, kids in junior high and elementaries that are going to be taking over there, talking to authors and educating them on books. And of course, like the beautiful things of English and storytelling and stuff like that. So, yeah, make sure you guys check out that event. I'm going to definitely be checking it out. I hope you guys go check it out. Stop sharing. Let's get this. All right. Onwards to the next part of the conversation. Shout out to Michael Betancourt and Storytelling and Legends Conventions. So during this week, of course, 2023, I think we all kind of prayed that it wouldn't be kicking us in the ass like the way these last couple of years have been going. But of course, 2023 is going to be a pretty easy year. We're going to come through it and we're going to be as strong as we can as usual. But of course, there's always coming with bad news. Bad news this past week was Jeremy Renner was hospitalized this past week and put in critical condition. He was in a snowmobile accident. Not a snowmobile, but like he was working with some truck. I don't know if you guys heard about the situation. He was on some road with some ginormous ass tractor that he has. It's like 3 tons. And he was pulling over to help a family who had got stuck, or like a family member who had gotten stuck. And when he got off the vehicle to go and help the family, like I guess get out or get pushed or whatnot, his snowmobile, which is, I said, like 3 tons, unlodged from, I guess, like the neutral or park position, and it ran him over. So he was airlifted to a hospital there in his local city, and he was put in critical condition, and he's gone through several surgeries. He had a lot of, snowplower, 3,000 pound snowplower. That's a big motherfucker, man. Messed up his chest. It crushed his whole body, messed up his legs. He had orthopedic surgery done and a bunch of other stuff. He had a lot of bleeding. Yeah, it was huge, man. It was huge. But on a positive note, today, this man, what a legend. And you know what's even cooler is, like, you know, when he got injured, of course, that's not a positive thing, but he was doing it knowing that his personality, like, you know, he plays this impressive character in the Marvel universe. He was being a hero. He was helping people out, and that's when this happened. And I mean, the positive nature of it is, you know, he looks like he's kind of pulling through pretty well. This was a video that was put on today on his Twitter.
That's the first shower.
Helping him shower up. He's active. He's reaching all his goals in the hospital. He's back to breathing normal, back to doing all that stuff. You know, and you know, he's looking like he's positive. This is his sister. She's the one that helped him post the video. So yeah, he's getting a little bit of a showering up. But yeah, man, it's looking positive. He looks like he's doing pretty good. Yeah, David, as a matter of fact, he's up there in some North Carolina or South Carolina or something. David Garcia, the man, the myth, the legend, one of the men behind the Collectors here in Edinburgh. North Dakota, there you go. Yeah, he's in North Dakota. He is working up there. He'll tell you that when the snow, I mean, here in the valley, the snow, when we get snow in the valley, the little snowmen that we get to make, they're Mexicans like us. And why do I say that? Because they got a little brown in them. Because you're trying to scoop up as much of the snow as you can, but there's not a lot. So there's a little bit of dirt in it and stuff like that. So it makes the little snowmen look a little muddy. But it up there, you'll get like, man, David, you'd have to kind of explain it to us. But how many inches of snow did you guys get where you guys were at this year? I heard, there were some places that got 13 inches, 12 inches, some 22 inches, some crazy stuff. So I know that the idea of snow in other areas can be 48 inches of snow. That's like, it's a whole ass level, man. That's a whole ass floor in a house. That's nuts, dude. Last year, 48 inches. Damn, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, this year's 14 inches. I mean, it's still 14 inches of snow is, the valley's not even, we can't even comprehend that kind of shit. So that's crazy. But yeah, hopefully Jeremy Renner makes a full recovery. But in the aspect of it, I think this is like a life-altering situation. Vince in the comments section put that social media, there's a lot of people that are saying to recast Hawkeye. Well, they already have Kate Beckinsale or whatever her name is, Kate Bishop. Haley Seinfeld is the actress that is going to be playing Hawkeye going forward. If I'm not mistaken, his character was going to be probably a main stage in the Thunderbolts series, but as of right now, I don't even know, because they haven't released a lot of information when it came to the situation with one of his legs. I heard that in the news when they were covering the story that one of his legs had like major bleeding. And in that aspect, if they didn't supply some type of tourniquet or something, he might have been in a situation where there's a possibility he could have lost one of his legs. So we're still waiting on the news of the opportunity to find out what the recovery section is. For what I've known and what I've read about is he's made staples when it comes to his recovery and the goals that the doctors are setting per week for him. So he's, his wife, or not his wife, but his sister, there by his side. And his mother says that he's a fighter. He's always been a fighter. And I mean, we've kind of understood that for him, that he's always been like this guy that's, being a 52-year-old or 53-year-old, he's pretty active. He's going to be celebrating his birthday next week there in the hospital, which is pretty sad. So if you have Twitter, let's try to see if we can make his birthday something special. Get on Twitter on his birthday next week on Tuesday, I believe, send him a nice message, send him some cool stuff. Maybe he gets it, maybe he doesn't, but the opportunities are still there, that he's a loved individual in society. He was one of the guys who came and brought in such a great character and brought Hawkeye to life in the Marvel Universe. So we pray for a full recovery for Jeremy Renner. Thank you, man. Keep going. Onwards to the next part of the conversation. Now, the next part of the conversation is going to lead up, of course, into the conversation of Ezra Miller, right? But what I wanted to talk about first is, I don't know if you guys have heard, or if anybody still follows, or if anybody even still watches, but the final season of the CW Flash show is going to be coming up on the CW in a couple of weeks. It's looking to be pretty grand, man, from what I've heard. There's a lot of stuff. I barely got Twitter. Hey, you and me both. As a matter of fact, I started getting on Twitter a lot more when it came to getting information when it came to the Green Ranger, when Jason David Frank passed away. There was a lot of people were all over the place when it came to it. And of course, getting information from websites and stuff like that is always hours later. But Twitter was that was the most moving thing on the whole entire, on that page. Yeah. So I instantly got back on Twitter to go check it out, to try to keep everybody up to date. And I've been a little bit back, but yeah, man, going on with the conversation. The grandeur of the CW Flash series is looking pretty big. David Garcia just hit it up in the comment section right now. It looks like Stephen Amell is going to be reprising his role as Green Arrow. Now, of course, if you follow the Flash CW show, we all know that Stephen Amell's Flash was it was an interesting turn, because in the comic books it wasn't this way, but he was turned into the Spectre in this ginormous crossover that they did a while back called Elseworld. And in that process, Stephen Amell's character comes in and he kind of reprises the role as a Spectre, which was given to another man. I'm not really sure what his name was off the top of my head, but his role was to be there and judge the world and get everybody in the right path to fight Pariah or whatnot. But I know that Stephen Amell's character was reprising this role or this image or this character, and then later on he ends up sacrificing himself for the character. So it's kind of interesting that Stephen Amell is going to be coming back for this season. So my question to you is, if you've watched the Elseworld crossover and you saw this sacrifice, how is it that Stephen Amell is going to be coming back? My question is this going to be the same Green Arrow character that Stephen Amell was playing in the ending of the Elseworld series, or is this going to be like a time displaced Arrow? Is this going to be like the Flash runs back in time, goes and grabs Stephen Amell's character and brings him back? Oliver, what is his name? Oliver Queen? Or is this going to be a new Green Arrow that, I don't know, it kind of interests me that, are they going to be doing this final season to represent the last comic book arc that was done called the Dark Crisis? Because in the comic books recently, DC did a big arc that was called the Dark Crisis. It finally came to an end a couple of maybe like days or weeks ago. I can't even remember. But what happened was they ended up consolidating the universe from the Flashpoint Paradox universe, the pre-Paradox universe, and then the recent 52. They consolidated all of them, so all the characters are back. So when you were watching Black Adam and we saw that Hawkman was like, oh, the Justice League Society, a lot of people who read comic books were like, whoa, shit, like the Justice League Society, like that's like the old school team. What are they doing alongside the Justice League of America in the new time? Well, this comic book ended up consolidating it and bringing it back to where not only is the Justice League here, or actually the Justice League hasn't been officially brought back together because they had died off in that comic book, but the Justice League with the new Superman and the new Batman were all there. The Justice League Society is back and they are doing their thing. The Hall of Justice has returned. The multiversal version of the Justice League with like Captain Carrot, the Superman that everybody wants, what's his face to play, Michael B. Jordan, is in that one also. Yo, what's up, Sal? How you doing, my dude? Here running the show solo today. Brian took a day off, so I'm challenging myself to see what I can do. So I wonder if this final season of The Flash is going to be an interpretation of them trying to pull off the Dark Crisis story, where Pariah, who's already been an established character in the Elseworld series of The Flash, has come out as, of course, that one actor guy that plays like every character. I forgot his name. Everyone is back in the Joker's pregnant. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I wonder if Pariah, because Pariah in that comic book is one of the major villains who's bringing in like the darkness from the beginning of time, which is like this character that deals with the god of the DC universe, whose name is the Presence, and also with Lucifer and all of these other characters that are all part of the Dark Horse, I think, if I'm not mistaken, realm, Vertigo realm or whatnot. So I wonder if that's what the Flash is going to be doing with the series. If you're following the Flash right now, or if you're following the series past Elseworld, is it kind of looking like the multiverse that they're bringing in is a lot like, of course, like the Dark Universe, or does it look like they're going to consolidate? Because I just don't know what they're going to do with the series. I haven't followed the Flash show in such a long time, but I thought it was pretty interesting that I've always liked the bravery of the Flash TV show. the CW bravery is because of the fact that they aren't scared to bring in all of these actors from the past and the DC crossovers. And even with some of the characters from the Justice League films from the Snyderverse, they weren't scared to follow with. Because like even with this show, like we had Ezra Miller who came out in the Flash CW show to reprise the Flash role that he does in the films. Now that James Gunn has come in and has canceled everything with that other guy, I'm not really sure his name. The CW show is kind of like the saving grace to see a lot of the characters you probably wanted to see in the Snyderverse. So, I mean, I doubt like Henry Cavill is going to come out in it, but we can get the Martian Manhunter. We can get shit. I mean, fuck, name it. Green Lantern. I mean, of course, Diggle is going to be coming back on the show, who will probably replace the role of the Green Lantern character. But I mean, it's so cool. You could even get Ben Affleck if he could. I mean, Jason Momoa could probably make it. I think it's just crazy for what the CW show has done the last several years with their show. It kind of makes it exciting to see the surprises and the nostalgia that they're willing to pull off to make the show work. And to kind of like, since it's their last hurrah, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. So guys, make sure you keep an eye out. The Flash CW is going to be coming out with their final season. Stephen Amell is already coming back. A bunch of other characters are called in, Lucifer, Constantine. I guarantee we're going to see a lot of them. So make sure you guys check it out. So I think it's going to be fun. Onwards to the next part. So what this does, this brings us the crossover of what we were talking about earlier when we had it mentioned with the chat of what it's saying with DC Universe and the Ezra Miller situation. So this past week, we got a lot of people talking about a lot of different eras that are calling for the idea that James Gunn is still interested in keeping Ezra Miller as the Flash in the Flash movie that's coming up. Well, not only past that, but past that into the DC universe. First, I want to ask to the people in the comment section and everybody that's watching, how do you feel about this, knowing that Ezra Miller is going to continue staying the Flash off of all the debacle that he has kind of like provided in his own personal life, literally living the reverse Flash life? Sal Seguda says they need to make Grant the new Flash instead of Ezra. Okay, that's a good call. That's a really, really good call. I must ask though, going over this conversation, it's interesting because of course Ezra Miller, for the last part, I mean, man, fuck, I can't even remember. It's been a long time. Shit, like early 2022, maybe late 21. He's kind of been like the villain character in his own personal life. He's made a lot of personal choices that a lot of people are proud of. Garrett, hopefully he's not either. But of course, we had him assault a family in Hawaii. We've had him rob people. We've had him assault people. We've had him apparently groom a 12-year-old child that he'd known since she was 12, and now she's already 18, 17. Kidnapped the same person. He had people in a housing area in his own personal farm, in a barn where there were apparently firearms in the area and children were there. This person is or was not in the sound mind. Of course, he's come out, made public apologies, told people he's going to get help and whatnot. And we had a podcast during that time in his life where we were assuming that the reason why that was being done is because he was going to get, he was going to go to some type of quality control where he was going to get help, therapy or whatnot, rehab. He was going to go to some type of rehab and then come back, and DC was going to figure out a way to use him. But the problem after that was James Gunn came in and took over the DC universe. We thought, of course, at the time, there was a power move for The Rock to kind of jump in and take control of the DC universe landscape and him run it. But we ended up having James Gunn get pulled in. And now here we are in this position where James Gunn, who this guy, of course, does not have a squeaky clean background either. He was fired from Disney for a bunch of inappropriate tweets that he had released back in 2019. And before that, because the texts and the tweets and all that stuff go back all the way to like 2017, 2015, where he was talking about pedophilia action against children. He even had situations where he was tagging people that he was friends with who ended up later being arrested and confirmed pedophile and someone who was having sexual intercourse or sexual inappropriate situations with a child or a minor. James Gunn was friends with this guy, tagging him in funny posts or inappropriate posts, and nobody was batting an eye on it. Disney, of course, released him from working. DC, of course, right then and there was like, oh, fuck, you fired him? Cool, we'll pick him up. Let's have him make a Suicide Squad movie. And then when that happened and everything kind of died down again, Disney hired him back as a writer and then brought him back to, of course, make the final and third movie of Guardians of the Galaxy, which he claims is his last film. Cool, man. Bounce. And now, of course, he is now going to be the guy that's head running DC. I think it's super weird. I think the whole entire situation, because now here he is talking about, yo, it's cool, whatever Ezra Miller did, like, it's all right. Like, I'll look past it. But is it because of the fact that he favors people with troubled past like that? Or is he himself a person that knows that even though this person is a troubled person and does naive things or bad things, that they still have a cool talent and it's cool to have them either way? I want to know your guys' information on that. Sal says, how do you keep Ezra and get rid of everyone else? That's a good question. They got rid of Henry Cavill. They got rid of Ben Affleck. Gal Gadot is still kind of up in the air. I'm pretty sure she's out. From what I've heard, she's making a jump back to the Fast and Furious franchise, which I don't even know how they're going to bring her back, which is interesting too. Yeah, it was pretty much Jason Momoa is going to be probably let go of being Aquaman, but there's a lot of people that are talking about him coming back as Lobo, which would be cool. Lobo's a cool character. But you still have Ezra Miller, man. I think that's wild. Well, not only that, you have Peacemaker also. If I'm not mistaken, they're not getting rid of Peacemaker because James Gunn's wife is a part of that show. And if they get rid of that show, then she's out of a job. So I really doubt they're going to do it. He's going to keep her because, favors or whatever. And Sal also says, plus, let's be honest, Ezra doesn't really fit the role. Well, I'll probably have to disagree a little bit. I really enjoyed his performance as the Flash in the Justice League Snyderverse. I think he did fairly well. He's a smart, funny guy. I think maybe the role was written differently from what we're used to when it comes to Barry Allen or Wade or what's the other guy's name? I can't even think of the other one, the redhead name, Wally West. I think he's just written a little bit more awkward, a little bit more introverted when it comes to his character. But I think he did all right. He's fairly well for the Flash character. His innocent youthfulness in the show really pays off, even though him himself, he's a shit person. I think he did fairly well. I think he fit fairly well for the Flash as the Snyderverse Flash. So we're going to have to see what they use for him. David says, depending on the results from the movie, will determine if they will give him a second chance. That's the way people are. Yeah, I could agree with that. I could see that this is a really interesting way that if he keeps himself, I mean, we talked about this on that podcast with Michael Betancourt and Brian, where we were saying if from the moment he admits he was wrong and apologizes, which still that's not enough for breaking the laws and hurting people and assaulting people and grooming and kidnapping and all this. Just apologies don't work that way. But if he can keep himself squeaky clean from here, the promotion of the film, the release of the film, then I think he gets a second chance. I think they keep him. He keeps himself out of the news. They keep a handler on him and making sure he doesn't do any stupid stuff. A little bit more of a physical handler because this guy's dumb. But I think they end up bringing this person on and keeping him as the Flash going forward. But then again, of course, we heard recently in the news that they're comparing this Flash to the Dark Knight Returns style of film, Christopher Nolan's films. We haven't seen anything out of the DC universe in the last 3 years that has come out that have been at that level. Even a lot of people will go out there and be like, oh man, but the Joker, no, the Joker isn't even a Joker movie. It's not connected to the universe. He's not even playing a character that's going to be constant in the universe. Same thing with the Reeves Batman film. It was very slow. It was very heavy-winded. And there was so many. I mean, the Batman movie. What they could have done was they could have shortened it and made it a better film. I think Matt Reeves or Mike Reeves or whatever this name is tried to fit so many stories in the way that they did Man of Steel, and it didn't work. The grittiness of the show was good. The grittiness of the movie, the Batman, was good. The way that they wrote the characters, the darkness, and all that stuff was pretty well done. Robert Pattinson, I think he did a phenomenal job bringing the idea of what the Batman could be, and the way Bruce Wayne could be handled, which wasn't too bad. I think it was just the way they did the story around him, which is kind of silly. So, but none of those have ever reached the tenacity and the showmanship of the way Christopher Nolan made all three of those movies, the Batman movies. So I don't know what they're talking about where this Flash movie is going to be, because I don't know who's claiming these movies are going to be any good. You can't claim Black Adam. You can't claim, of course, Wonder Woman 1982 or 84 or whatever. The only thing that you can kind of bring closer, of course, like I said, the Batman, the Joker, and those don't correlate anything to the DC universe that they're trying to create. So that's just my opinion. But what are your guys' opinions on them bringing and keeping Ezra Miller as the Flash going forward in the DC? I'm sorry, I got the hiccups. I'm going to open me a soda real quick. But yeah, let me get some real quick. Mountain Dew. Yeah, what are your guys' opinions on that? So onwards to the next part of the conversation. I wanted to go back to something that we talked about this past week, and I wanted to say I may change my mind on something that I had said last week when I was talking to Brian, which was this was an interesting conversation. And of course, we had people come in the comment section, and sitting on it and thinking about it for the past week, I think it was a really interesting conversation to have, which was when we look at Dave Bautista and Dwayne Johnson as actors, we look at this idea on the difference between both of them. So last week, I believe the part of the conversation was, is Dave Bautista better as a wrestler turned actor, or is The Rock still the best version of that person when it came to it? And last week I defended The Rock tremendously. And of course, Brian talked about Dave Bautista getting a lot more opportunities and all that stuff. And same thing with people in the comment section. And I think I made a mistake. I think Dave Bautista is far more an interesting fellow when it comes to being an actor in recent times. Now, of course, I want to know what you guys think. Who do you guys think is the better one when it comes from wrestler to actor? Dave Bautista or Dwayne Johnson? I have to ask, and I want to know. I want to know in the comment section. So my opinion in the situation is I believe both of them do fairly well. I've been a pretty good fan of The Rock since, of course, when he first started making films way back in the day. And Dave Bautista too, he's made really, really interesting films. But I think that the situation that I did not get to explain the most out of, which is probably something that I should have been a little bit more elaborate on, is the typecasting situation that happens in Hollywood. And the typecasting situation would practically be like you look at Jonah Hill, who Jonah Hill is a fantastic actor, but he himself has suffered in the last several years. You see it where his mental demeanor and the way he carries himself as a human being has changed because he constantly gets typecasted as, or by people as the person of a larger structure, the chubby roles or the fat man roles or whatever you want to call them. And it's super sad. It really is, because you look at Jonah Hill as a person, he always gets typecasted. Anytime he goes on a TV show, you should watch him, man. The fucking YouTube videos are wild. They'll be like, hey, so what is it like being the fat man in Hollywood? Man, it is so degrading on the way that they fucking treat this guy. And I hate those guys that do that shit. And it forced him into, of course, maybe he needed it as a person and to make him stronger, because after that, Jonah Hill started working out. If you look at him now, he's lost a tremendous amount of weight. He's out there doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu and training and doing crazy shit. It's never crossed his mind. And I want to say that that's sort of like a good thing. because it's changed his life as a human being to better himself, to make himself a stronger individual. And now he's out there, still making films, not being typecasted that way. He's standing up for himself and his beliefs and his life, and it's amazing. But yeah, I think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has suffered tremendously, and the same thing as Dave Bautista, same thing as John Cena. But I'm gonna say I kind of think that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has suffered from this more. Is they get typecasted coming in as like they always end up playing like the big dumb jock character. And you'll see it throughout The Rock's credit where he's always brought in to play like a guy who's large, silly, and not smart. Same thing with John Cena. Most of his movies, he plays like just a big dumb guy. And then The Rock changed and he started making kind of like serious action, down-to-earth hero, street-level hero characters. And then it stayed there for The Rock. Recently, of course, we've been seeing him come out and of course, there was that weird Disney story. I don't even know what it's called, where he plays like a boat rider or something. I didn't even check it out. But of course, we saw him in Black Adam, which I think by far it's been the best role that he's been given because he fits that role tremendously well. But and John Cena too. John Cena came in and did Peacemaker, did an amazing role as a superhero or some type of role like that. But he's so his comedy is so on the spot. He's so good in that movie. Plays Jungle Cruise. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Liz. It's good to see you on the podcast. John Cena. But he steps in those roles so funny. I cannot be the only one who always assumed that John Cena was Ernest P. Worrell's like one of his kids, because man, they look the same. I've always wanted John Cena to make an Ernest like goes to camp movie. Or Ernest goes to the gym. He would fucking kill that movie. He'd kill that movie so hard. Jeremy, what's up, my dude? Good to see you in the comment sections. Welcome to the podcast, of course. Miss you, bro. I hope you're doing good. I'm going to go back a little bit. Dave, of course, says The Rock, better quality film. Dave Bautista's movies he's more into movies. Okay. Vince, of course, brings up John Cena. I didn't really want to bring up John Cena too much because he's following the Dave Bautista role, but he's very open to taking the comedy roles too, which he's excelled in. Elizabeth says, I'm waiting for either Dwayne or Dave to be in the Expendables. Whoa, that's cool. I kind of see that Dwayne would probably be that guy. I think Dave is good, but I think he still needs a little bit more of like the movies that portray that way for him to be typecasted. If he does a fucking Gears of War movie like he wants to, or if they bring him in, I just read an article today that they were talking about how the Bane would be like probably his best opportunity if he gets put in a DC film, and dude, he would fucking kill it as Bane. Not even kidding. Then I think he would be up for an Expendables film. I think that would be pretty much good for him. Vince then says, but from Dave and Dwayne on which is better, I say Crispy's better. I wish, man. I wish. That'd be so cool. Being in film would be fun. And Jeremy says, I'm still going to go with Dave over Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The Rock has played some roles where I found interesting, but not compared to how Dave has been casted, where he lands more dramatic characters in which I believe. And you know what? I think that's absolutely correct. And I think that's where Dave Bautista carrying himself as an actor, from wrestler to actor, is different from what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did. Because I feel like everybody just followed Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Everybody just followed him as The Rock. They were just like, yo, I love you. You're charismatic. I like the eyebrow. I like the people's elbow. Like, I need to bring you into the role, and it'd be so cool. And then while they're filming, the guy's like, yo, can you do the eyebrow? Yo, can you rock bottom this dude? Like, it was really weird. It was almost like we always catered to the idea of like, that's even funnier to think. You can't tell me that during Black Adam, you did not wait for him to rock bottom someone, or you didn't hope that he was going to rock bottom Hawkman, or that he was going to do the eyebrow when he turned around and someone looked at him when Superman showed up. Those tropes are what a lot of directors and people that wanted to hire him were always looking for to bring to his film. So they wanted to raise the bar on both the character and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to kind of make them equals. Where I think Dave Bautista, for what it's worth, he looks at these roles and he says, well, can you give me something that challenges me? Because I don't want to be the wrestler Dave Bautista in this film. Like, I want to bring to life what you want to see as a director. And I think that's the difference. I think he really pushes for the more demanding of acting roles. When he goes out there, he doesn't want to just be typecasted. He wants something that's like a serious acting profession. He doesn't want to just go out there and be Dave Bautista. I'm an actor and I'm a wrestler. He wants to separate them both. And I think that's what gives him these beautiful, awesome, like Jeremy said, dynamic roles. Now, here we go. Rock versus Dolph Lundgren. Oh man, that'd be cool. I mean, dude, it just sounds good. Like, cause look at it. You look at the movie like The Expendables 1, 2, 5, 28, or whatever they have. I don't even remember. The Expendables leave the nursing home or whatever it is. Each one of those characters does exactly what they used to do in all of their action films back in the 80s and the 90s. You look at Chuck Norris would come in and have some kind of like fucking rocket launcher, or he's wearing like a Crocodile Dundee outfit that just kills people from a distance, whatever. You had Sylvester Stallone playing like almost like the one-liner Judge Dredd style character in his character. You look at Jean-Claude Van Damme doing the jumping, spinning kick. You have Dolph Lundgren playing this character that always double crosses everybody like he did in Universal Soldiers. Those characters all had their tropes put into those films. The Rock fits that more than Dave Bautista in that situation. That's my call. You guys can say no or not. I just think so. Dave Bautista did great in Glass. I haven't seen Glass Onion. If you've seen Glass Onion, give me like a rating of a 1 to 10. I haven't seen it. I've heard some people talk some good stuff. I know that the Knives Out film, the first one, was pretty interesting. If you're into like the Clues, Scooby-Doo style movies, like this is where you kind of want to be and you want to check it out. So make sure you guys check it out. But Glass Onion I haven't seen. I know they released it on Netflix this past week and I need to check it out for sure. Thanks, Mike. Mike, what's up? Michael Betancourt. What's up, King Yeti? What's up, dudes? Thank you guys for jumping the podcast. I'm by myself. Brian took a day off. I didn't really try to hit up too many people for the podcast today. I wanted to kind of test myself, come and do it solo today to see if I can pull this off. I need to challenge myself for 2023. I want to be an inspiration for you guys to make sure that you guys are following your dreams and pushing it. So I wanted to do something different. So watch me fail. Watch me fail. What is it? Vince Weaver says Dolph Ziggler. No, it's Dolph Lundgren needs a good acting push since he did the movie Countdown. Well, that's the thing. Dolph Lundgren, shout out to Dolph Lundgren. This dude is like a quantum physicist. This guy's amazing, dude. He's super smart and intelligent. Acting is kind of like just something that he does in the background, but got to focus on the cute faces. All those weird. I'm going to be an E-girl. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, Dolph Lundgren. And the thing is, he's always done these really like low budget B movies. So like even with the Expendables being like such a huge hit, there was really not a lot for him going on. I think Dolph Lundgren would be an interesting fellow if you brought him into like television in like those NCIS shows. He always played such badass killer kickboxing detective dudes that you can't go wrong with him in those kind of situations. Even bringing him in as like a new Saw, ooh woo. Even, oh man, if you were to bring Dolph Lundgren into a horror film, that would be rad. If you could see Dolph Lundgren come out in any horror IP, what would it be? What would it be? Dolph is like, oh, he's a wrestler. Oh, my bad. That's not even, I keep thinking you guys are talking Dolph Lundgren. I haven't heard the name Dolph in such a long time. Yeah, yes, he is. You see, King Yeti knows what's up. The eyebrow was a thing when he's talking about The Rock, was a thing when he cameoed in The Mummy before he got so you know what I'm talking about. You see all those quotes. King Yeti, what is up, my dude? Thank you guys for joining us on YouTube. I appreciate you, man. He says, man, they really fucked up Black Adam by introducing him as being Doctor. Dude, oh my God, that pissed me off so much. They made him stronger than Dr. Fate. Now he is the face. Now he has to face the Spectre or somebody to get beat. Dude, I was so... But they trashed the shit out of Dr. Fate. Whoever made... I forgot his name. The director or the story writers of Black Adam, they picked up Hawkman which I mean, Hawkman's cool, but there's no way he's fighting that hard against Black Adam. Black Adam's dicking the fuck out of him. But there's no way that Black Adam fucking solos Dr. Fate like that. No way. But then even the fact that Dr. Fate, I mean, bringing in that actor, I forgot his name, the James Bond dude, like Pierce Brosnan or whatever. Even that, he's not even supposed to be able to take off his helmet as he pleases or chooses or wants to. Once he puts it on, he's pretty much a slave. His body's like the avatar for Niru or Nibu or whatever his name is. I was real disappointed with the way they handled Dr. Fate and Black Adam, but it's cool. They screwed it up so much that it's not coming back. So don't worry about it. And DC canonized the CW DC verse version of the Spectre as a multiversal constant. Yeah, I heard about that, man. Pierce Brosnan. So King, are you kind of invested in the CW version of the Flash? Like, just let me know, like, kind of like a cool chill yes. Like, are you caught up on it? Because I had a couple of questions that we were talking about a little while ago. Michael Buttoncourt says, I would like to see a period piece with Dolph Lundgren being a noir detective, and holy shit, this is why you go to college, Mike. This is why you're a fucking doctor in fantasy films and stories. Yeah, me neither, dude. Noir detective in a Cthulhu mythos movie, out there hunting German occultist, trying to awaken an elder. God damn it, that would be really good. Mike, that's and it'd be like during like Hitler's time when he was like researching the occult, and him be out there being like a fucking just killing Nazis, dude. Like, whoa, that would be like Doctor in Mythological Studies and Folklore. Yes, you are, dude. Yes, you are. Nah, man, that's so fucking crazy. That would be really, really cool. King Yeti says, not at all. Yeah, not a lot of us are. The question that I had was, they're going to be doing the final series of The Flash. We were just talking about this a little while ago. And if there's one thing that the CW Flash does, is it has huge balls in what it does when it comes to getting like cameos. So like, would you think that there was an opportunity for them to bring in a lot of the canceled characters from the DC universe, which would be like from the Snyderverse? Like, do you think there's a possibility they bring back like the Cyborg guy in a cameo, or I don't know, anybody, fucking Lex Luthor Jr. or whatever? You think that's opportunities, I guess? Because there's a lot of people that are still climbing at the idea that we hope that we get the Snyderverse or whatever it was, because James Gunn's canceling all these characters. Do you think that the Flash TV show picks up the slack and brings some of those characters back, like the Martian Manhunter guy? We never saw anything with him, or the Green Lantern, but that would be really cool. Let me see. Oh, yeah. You see Elizabeth's in there. She's like, dude, I second this. He could kick the ass, the Red Skull's ass for sure. For sure. Did he just got King Yeti is like, did Michael Betancourt just come up for a screenplay for a TV show for Dolph Lundgren? Bet. Yes, he did. Shit, that would even be a fucking great movie, or even like a Netflix show. Like, you get some good money to put that shit in, and it would be really, really good. Shot in black and white, 1940. Like, are you talking like black and white, or like Sin City black and white, where it's like that CG black and white? 1945, right before Hitler kills himself. Motherfucker, that sounds so cool. Historically, the Nazis were doing occult shit, and they were trying to win. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Mike, you really do, man. Well, that's why we did this. So what was so cool is, I got to give a shout out. Last week, I came out and I was talking about how I wanted to make a kid's book. And I got people during the week that were hitting me up, and they were like, yo, you should do this. Yo, you got to do that. Yo, this is so good. Yo, this is so good. And I was super blown away by the feedback I got from everybody. It made me so happy. So it really, really pushed me. So I did a lot of work on it this past week. King Yeti says they might, but I don't think that studio will want to pay the money for any of those bigger names. Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, how much bigger can they be now that it's all crammed off? You know what I mean? Jeremy says the CW doing more than W Bill will do for the next 5 years. Yeah, it's super crazy because, as a matter of fact, Jared Padalecki, the man, the myth, the legend, fucking Bull from Supernatural, if you want to call him that, Sam, he plays Walker Texas Ranger in the new television show of the CW. And I just recently saw that they are doing like a historical version called like Walker, and it's supposed to be like the Indians, like in Cowboys, and they're putting Walker way back in the past. And in my mind, I was like, wait a minute. Are they going to tell us that Walker, Texas Ranger can time travel like the Flash? Because I would totally watch the shit out of that. I'd totally watch the shit out of that. The CW is adding and doing more in the last season than the WB did what we'll do in 5 years. Yeah, you are not wrong. And the Nazis were summoning demons and older deities. Well, I know that. So going into some cool conspiracy shit, because now that that's brought up, like I love this kind of stuff. So Hitler was trying to like, he was bringing in a lot of people. He brought in these like weird people that could like see the future. Some people that were like blonde. I don't know. You're going to have to question that or look it up on Google. But these people, like long blonde haired women that could like talk to aliens, and like they were looking up pieces of the Bible. Like there was a bunch of stuff that was going on during that time. Because Hitler was like, I brought in these scientists. They're talking about making rockets that can go to the moon and all this shit. And if I'm going to talk crazy with scientists, I might as well bring in a bunch of crazy ass motherfucking cult leaders too and look for pieces too. Walker did a lot for the Native American dream walking and vision question. Well, so I know that there was that one episode where like Chuck Norris stops a chainsaw with his hand and he's like an Indian for no reason, like the whitest Indian we've ever met. And that his beard, like he kicked the chainsaw, or like the chainsaw broke on his beard, or I don't know. The Walker Texas Ranger show, like it was crazy for a minute, but I wonder if they're gonna put like some sci-fi shit in it. That'd be kind of wild. That'd be really fucking wild. Vince Weaver comes in with the question: have you seen the movie The Menu? No, I have not. But if I'm not mistaken, I know that Voldemort, the actor that plays Voldemort, is like a chef in it or something like that. And just from the way the movie looks, I'm guessing he's going to like be cooking human beings or some shit. You're going to have to tell me if I'm wrong on this, Vince, but I haven't heard anything of this movie. But from the way the movie poster looks, he probably like cooks human meat and feeds people it or something. It looks crazy as fuck. I got to check it out. So yeah, that's wild, man. What a crazy conversation. I can't believe the difference between Dave Bautista and Dwayne The Rock Johnson took us on a fucking hocus pocus ride into like Nazis and Walker Texas Ranger and the occults of the Nazi regime and Dolph Lundgren. Kudos, guys. Kudos. That's so funny. Yeah, that's the guy that plays Ralph Fiennes is the guy that plays the fucking Voldemort guy. It's a good movie. Okay, so what's The Menu about? Mike, you're gonna have to put this in the comment section. Maybe just Googling what is this movie about? In fact, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna look up the trailer. We're gonna look this up right now. We're gonna watch the trailer together. And why are we gonna watch the fucking trailer together? Because we can. Let me see. Almost there, folks. Let's get it. All right. Let's make this. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to put myself like a gamer. There we go. Look at this, like a gamer. Let me hide this fucking background real quick so you guys can check this out, man. There we go. Here we go, guys. Here we go. And watch.
Is that going to fit everyone?
Yeah, easily. 12 customers total.
How do they turn a profit?
$12.50 a head.
That's
how.
What are we eating, a Rolex?
It's one of his classics.
Let's take a picture of it
Try
first.
the mouthfeel of the mignonette.
Please don't say mouthful.
Tonight will be madness.
Welcome. We'll endeavor to make your evening as pleasant as possible.
So is this a suspense movie or something or what? Oh, dude, this guy's so good.
Welcome to Hawthorne.
Here we are family. We harvest, we ferment, we gel.
They gel.
We gel.
He's not just a chef, he's a storyteller. The game is trying to guess what the overarching theme of the entire meal is going to be. You won't know till the end.
Who are you?
I am Margot. Why do you care?
I have to know if you're with us or with them. This menu,
The pictures, they're of us.
this guest list.
How do they get these?
It's not good. This entire evening.
Oh, what?
It's just theater. It's stagecraft.
We're leaving now. Has been painstakingly planned.
This is real, isn't it?
What the hell is going on?
We now offer you a 45-second head start.
Okay, 45 seconds starts now.
Oh,
This is what you're paying for.
Get out of my way.
It's all part of the menu.
It's okay.
No, we're gonna die today.
Yes.
I kind of feel like this is like this is like one of those movies that's like where the elitists
birthday.
bring in these people and they all like hunt them or you pay to see it. Yeah, this movie looks fucking wild, man. That looks crazy as shit. Damn. Okay, so originally I thought it was just gonna be like some drama-esque movie when they were just talking about food or whatever, but it does not even correlate with that. It ends up being where it's like those Van Damme movies back in the day where like they hire or they bring in like a bunch of like homeless people and then people got to hunt them or whatever. Mike, you can kind of like call me bullshit on that or whatnot, but are they hunting these people because it's a part of the experience that they are on the island and it's them creating, I guess, adventure when it comes to this guy's food or whatever? I'm taking a chance. Either way, I'm going to watch it. It looks wild as shit, man. Dude, what is it with these movies nowadays? It's like The Golden Onion looks pretty sharp, and well, I kind of feel like this movie is going to be a little bit better than The Golden Onion. That's kind of like my opinion on the way I like to do it. So I didn't get that right either. Shit. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this movie. We'll probably talk about it next week or whatever. Dude, that's crazy. The menu, that's good. Onward. Okay, so I have an interesting conversation that I want to bring up later, and you guys can talk to me about it. But first, we're going to talk about Marvel because I got some interesting work and interesting talks about this past week. Marvel talks about Kang being the big baddie. But of course, we have two major films that are coming up in the Marvel universe that are really, really important. We have the Kang Dynasty and we have Secret Wars. There are some interesting players that come through in the comic books, and a lot of people are talking about what they want to see. If there's one character a lot of people have kind of deemed the next major comic book character that they want to see in comic books into film is, if I'm not mistaken, Doctor Doom. You guys can let me know in the comment section if you guys think the same thing. Of course, a lot of people were clamoring at the idea of Doctor Doom being in Wakanda forever, that he was going to end up being this like magical behind the scenes character that was going to bring in a lot of the problems that were going on between Talokan and Wakanda, putting them at warring between each other. Of course, we have Jonathan Majors coming in as Kang the Conqueror, who of course is an amazing actor himself. Can't wait to see this guy done. But there's one thing that's kind of interested me in the last couple of months with one of the films that a lot of people are talking about, which is, of course, Marvel's Secret Wars. I think the biggest concern out of this is, if you see, Alex says it, he says we need Doom. Doom is just, he needs to be then Apocalypse. Well, I mean, that's, of course, that's when they bring in the mutants and stuff like that, right? Which is an important talks. But if there's one person that I'm kind of, no, let's not talk about that part. I want to say, if there's one thing that we need to understand is the Secret Wars conversation is, which Secret Wars do we think that Marvel will eventually pull from when it comes to filming this film? We know that we're bringing in Kang the Conqueror as this person who literally controls the entire facet of the multiverse, and they fight amongst each other, the different Kangs. But we all know that there's one person that they're leaving out and what nobody's talked about, which I have an idea, which is something that's interesting that I hope that you guys can get behind, and maybe we bust the theory fucking 2 years in advance before this movie comes out. It's the Beyonder. Do you think, as comic book readers and as comic book lovers and as MCU lovers and people who just love the franchise, that there is a huge opportunity that, yes, we get Kang the Conqueror as one of the biggest characters in this year, and that's the big push, that's like their Thanos, but literally right after that, with it being such a cosmic story, that Kang doing all this stuff in the multiverse and all this madness, that it gets the attention of someone like the Beyonder, and the Beyonder's like, hey, you know what? Like, this guy in the multiverse brought together all of these different people, and they're all really cool. But me, the Beyonder, you know what I want to see? I want to see which one of them is the strongest. So I'm going to put them in the Secret Wars part. Do you guys think that that's an opportunity for this? Because my biggest concern with the last several films, and this is going into the Marvel concept, is they get Kang the Conqueror, and literally from the last two parts, we saw that in the San Diego Comic-Con from last year, they released the two films that are going to be broken up are Kang the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Now, in that, when they released it that way, it automatically made people assume that Kang was going to be the major villain behind both. But we all know that in the 80s, the Beyonder was like kind of like the major, kind of like focal point of villainy in that story. And then in the recent times, in the 2015 through 17 arc, it's God Doom, Dr. Doom, but he's taken the powers of the Beyonder with Owen Reese and Doctor Strange. And he now has the power of the Beyonder. He's called God Doom. He runs this place called Battle World, which is an infinitely full world full of different multiverses put on one planet that are all coexisting in a world that he created as a god. My biggest concern was that they were going to make Battle World and Secret Wars, and they were going to consolidate the Beyonder with either the Beyonder as Kang, or since he's from a dimension that is beyond our comprehension, or we do get a Doctor Doom before Kang Dynasty, and then Kang then becomes a Beyonder. But in that process, I don't think we have enough information about Doom, the character in the film, that makes it to where he's even that comprehensible to be able to take someone on like the Beyonder. I think we've already kind of like, that ship's kind of sailed when it comes to explaining how crazy Doom is. My question is, do you think the Marvel Universe, as the DC or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has the potential to bring someone like the Beyonder to life? And my question is, for anyone out there, who do you think would be an interesting actor to play the Beyonder? I will go ahead and put my hat in the raffle into saying that I think a really great person to play the Beyonder, if we were going to do a Kang independently and then the Beyonder as an independent person in the Secret Wars film, I think it would be awesome to see Keanu Reeves as the Beyonder. Why do I think Keanu Reeves as the Beyonder? Because a lot of the films that Keanu Reeves does, he plays like this innocent, I'm still learning. He even has like that whoa, like that Neo whoa, like concept to him in all his characters he portrays. So he's always like and that's the thing with the Beyonder, is the Beyonder didn't comprehend humankind, and that's why he kept messing with them and trying to study them. It's because he couldn't understand it. Now, hear me out. I think Keanu Reeves, and that's because he's been in conversations for a role in Marvel. Stanley, who's this? Who is this? Michael Betancourt. Are you're shitting on my on my ideals? Stanley. Oh, okay. I could see that. I mean, yeah, or even the dude that plays Ari, right? Is this the same guy that plays Ari? No. Michael C. Hall. Let's see this. Michael C. Hall. Michael C. Hall is the Beyonder, the guy that plays Dexter. I mean, he has the look, doesn't he? Yeah, he definitely has the look. I could see him in a white Michael Jackson Thriller outfit. like the whole jacket and pants and everything all leathered, all Akira'd out. I can see that. Who else, man? I want to know. I think Keanu Reeves would play a really interesting character role when it comes to this, just off the top of my head. And the reason why, like I said, he always has a tendency to play these like really like loosely uneducated, hyper intelligent characters that know what they're doing, but always act kind of like mildly like, whoa, like I didn't understand that. That's crazy. Jeremy says, I feel like if Doctor Doom gets introduced, he'll be thrown out and won't be the lasting effect. And I'll see you in the next movie or in the future. Oh, you're talking. Yeah, I can see that. Well, that's kind of like what they're doing with Namor, because a lot of people forgot that the rights are still owned by Universal Studios. So even with that, like even if Marvel wanted to do some big role with Namor, they really can't because they're in the same predicament as they are with the Hulk. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Dang, that sucked though, man. Doom, like, but okay, so we'll talk about that right now. Let me get to Michael Betancourt's comment. He says Hall doesn't have the calm presence for me. He has the face, but not sure as the scary, nice, evil as. Yeah, that's true. Logan Paul to play the Beyonder. I mean, he's done everything else, dude. Why not? I mean, he's done everything else. He's a wrestler now too. Yeah, that's a good point though. That's a good part about Michael Hall. But I don't know, man. Michael Hall does play like the scary, like that scary, I'm an innocent dude kind of role. Like, you know what I mean? Like he knows how to portray this like very cynical, evil, like even though he doesn't mean to be evil, he can be. Whoa, Michael Betancourt. That's so funny. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that out loud. I'll put it on screen. But Mike, I'm not going to say that out loud. That's funny as hell though. I like that. But for me, you know what? I do see that happening, Jeremy. And that's the problem with the situation. But what do they do with Doctor Doom? Like, yes, he plays very interesting roles when it comes to huge arcs in the Marvel Universe. But independently, it's very hard for them to. No, it's fun. That's fine, Mike. That's funny though. John Cena. Vince, you're killing me, man. That's so funny. The Doctor Doom character has such really cool roles when it comes to like the large Avengers arcs, but independently, he doesn't really get a lot of love when it comes to like his own personal character. And I do say that with like when they did the Iron Man run as him. Literally, he's always been like this backbone character to the Fantastic Four. Even when they write that character in the Fantastic Four, he's like this villain, but in the process of it is like, what is it? Godfather to his arch nemesis' daughter and takes care of her. And like, you know, he's almost like the Vegeta to Goku when it comes to Reed Richards. So him as a major villain in the DCEU, they already have characters like M'Baku. They already have characters like Namor now, who are all these like these emperor imperialistic style characters that all control their own cities, but deep down inside they have these like, Marvel always has this really weird knack to writing these characters as, well, let's make them understandable. Let's not make them fucking hardcore bad. Let's make it to where like they're reasonable and you could see yourself doing the same thing. And I don't think they need to do that with Doom. I think they need to make him a fucking psychopath. Like, not, of course, not like fucking Carnage, Cletus Cassidy psycho. I just think they need to make him this like super asshole emperor guy that just takes zero bullshit from everybody and thinks he's always, not sometimes, always better than anybody else. Doom needs to be a shadow player, the villain behind the villains. But they already have that. They have the what's that shit that's going on with the broker, the one that's in Captain America. So they already have a character like that. When they ended up bringing in what's her name, Sharon Carter's character to be the arms broker or whatnot, which a lot of people already forgot about because it's so fucking out there. But they already have characters like that. You have Valentina. That's like that. You have Thunderbolt Ross that's about to come out in Thunderbolt. What is it? Han Solo's going to be playing him. And he's supposed to be like this crazy character. But who does the broker work for? Like, who knows? I'm guessing it's gonna be like, yeah, levels on levels. But that's the problem, Mike. Like, well, in my opinion, that's the problem with this. Is the levels on levels is that's cool. That's what Marvel does. In the comic books, it's a lot easier to play with because you have different arcs and different comic books and different ways that you can implement the story and kind of noodle it in and kind of like weave them together. But in the films, the gaps I think are a little bit too big. And from television to movie, a lot of people do not give the television shows right now the love as much as they're doing the movies, because the television shows, it's either a hit or it's like a complete fucking miss, like a failure, like even beyond the idea of just hit and miss, because it's either the shows are, oh, okay, that show was pretty good, or it's like, fuck, I hope it can sit in the levels of Mephisto's hell. Like there's no saving them. There's no saving them. So like, even with that, like the power broker or the broker, like who does she work for? I don't know, because the entire show was just telling me that, that what's that city that they were in? I even forgot the fucking city because it's been so long. That one city of crime is literally just run by the broker. And then she's out there on the phone talking to people, getting away from Valentina, who we just saw come out in Wakanda Forever, and then is going to come out in the Thunderbolts, running the Thunderbolt series. And then she's going to be working under Thunderbolt Ross, who is themed to be the president of the United States. It's kind of like, yo, dude, well, if Sharon is lying to the person who's right under the president of the United States, then who does a broker work for? Well, fuck, who's got more power in the MCU than Thunderbolt Ross in the United States? Like, is it Nick Fury? So she works for Nick Fury, who is in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. or is in charge of, you know what I mean? Like, it gets very complicated, and that's just me going off the top of my head. Yeah, Madripoor. And off the top of my head, I couldn't even fucking remember that shit. And that's how long it's been. Madripoor. You're talking about Patch. His name is literally Patch. Wolverine with a patch in his eye. That was the equivalent to Clark Kent wearing sunglasses and then not recognizing him. It's so stupid. But yeah, I think the levels in the comic book stories works very well in comic books, because you have multiple comic books that all each independently sell on their own, and they go out there and do cool shit. But I really don't think it's going to work very well in the films. So a lot of people are thinking that the Doom character is going to suffer from like the way Ultron suffered. Same thing with Kang. Same thing with Gore the God Butcher. Like, all of these characters are going to get like a one-off story and then get killed off, which sucks. Tom Bateman as Dr. Doom, if you see the Cold Pursuit movie. Tom Bateman, who's this? I'm sorry, I'm having to look up all these characters. I don't know them off the top of my head. Tom Bateman. I've never even seen this guy. Cold Pursuit. Okay, I see that. Yo, this guy looks like he's up that he could probably do the Beyonder too. It's got that face on him. It's cool. It's interesting. Whew, all right. Tom Bateman as Doom. If you guys can see Cold Pursuit. Sweet. Alrighty. I don't know who that actor is, so I really can't jump on that myself. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I know that's an interesting conversation, but do you think there is a possibility that we do get a separate actor to play the Beyonder, rather than it just be based on Marvel being like, oh, well, Kang's going to have an ultimate version of himself and he's going to be called the Beyonder Kang? Or are they going to do it? Because the thing is like those individual characters, the Beyonder and God Doom, both played their roles specifically for those arcs and are, I think, should be done independently, not combined with another character to make it make sense or whatever. So that's just my opinion. And I think, of course, Keanu Reeves, man. Keanu Reeves, in my opinion. Okay, so onwards into the last part of our conversation, which is an interesting flip, because I just wanted to talk about something in Marvel. If you guys have anything else you want to talk about when it comes to Marvel or DC, don't be afraid to drop it in the comment section. I always love answering questions from everybody, so make sure you guys put it up. It's interesting. I love talking about comics. So if you guys have that, let me know. I know that someone mentioned it earlier and people wanted to hear my response on it, and people are hitting me up in the comment section, and people are hitting me up on my own personal stuff also. Recently, DC released a comic book where it's been all over the place, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about already, where the Joker gets pregnant. Like, yes, we need more of this these type of things in comic books. I know what you're talking about, but hear me out. So in the comic books right now, there is an interesting story, and it's, I think, on the back panels or the back pages of another comic book. So it's not even like, it's not like it's getting its own released comic book or whatever. The Joker ends up being pregnant by Zatanna, who Zatanna is the the daughter of another great, fantastic Justice League character named Zatanna also, who was her father. That was their like magician name. Michael Borden, before we go on, Michael Betancourt says, so the Beyonder creating Secret War and bringing in the mutants, or God Doom creating Battleworld and combining the multiverse, including the mutants. Yes. Okay. So that was okay. So before we go to the Joker conversation, Mike hits it right on the head with what I've always thought about. So I think it's going to be Battleworld, because there was some interesting conversations and interesting characters in those stories that are able to go over the walls and go into different areas, which was like the Thor Corps, having Jane Foster and the Thor Corps. You had Storm as Thor that got to go to different universes. You had She-Hulk work with Wolverine in one of them, where She-Hulk throws or does the fastball and throws Wolverine over the wall, which is Old Man Logan Wolverine, which is in our cinematic universe would be Logan Wolverine, which is the older Wolverine with Hugh Jackman. But in the original story, the Beyonder brings in a bunch of the Marvel MCU characters and villains, including Galactus, to fight amongst each other, and whoever wins gets whatever they want in whatever their heart's desire can be. So it ends up being like a championship. But the reason why that comic was created was they needed to make sales and introduce characters so that they could sell toys, the toy lines. That was literally what it was about. That's when you got your Spider-Man in the black costume. You had, of course, your Reed Richards and everybody getting their cool updates. You had your Doom character. You had your Galactus characters, but everybody was getting a toy. Everybody was getting a toy. You got a toy, Oprah style. But what I think is going to happen, this is just my call. In the Kang Dynasty, we're going to get a Kang who knows about every version of the Fox universe, any of the Marvel franchises that have ever been created. And he's going to bring in one or two characters or groups of those characters into one film to fight against Kang the Conqueror that's in Ant-Man versus Quantumania. I think every one of those, like the Ant-Mans of those worlds, ends up being defeated, and those characters kind of like seep through. Of course, that's going to be the first time that everybody gets consolidated in a film, which we are thinking, how does Marvel pull off the way what they did with the Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, where they brought in all of the characters all together? Well, what they're going to do, my opinion, is all of those characters, most of them are either going to die out or leave. And you're going to have the new Avengers, which is the team that's going to be created with Sam Wilson's Captain America. You'll have your original Avengers that had Chris Evans and Tony Stark and all those guys from the 2012, 2015 movie. You're going to have your X-Men First Class, maybe like one or two of the characters. You're going to have your X-Men Fox, one or two characters, maybe three. Of course, Hugh Jackman and Deadpool from the Deadpool movie. You're going to have the Fantastic Four. I think they'll do it, but with the original cast, not from the Fox one, and they won't bring in the new Fantastic Four, because of course with them bringing in the new one, they're going to have to bring in who's going to be the actor. But yeah, you see, look, Janke Jansen's already rumored to be in Deadpool, which is, I'm telling you, man, this is so interesting, because even with the Deadpool film is supposed to be Deadpool kills the MCU or the Marvel universe, but it's only the Fox universe. So he's already going to be able to cause an incursion in that universe. And then it's going to be like all of these characters, he kills most of them, and some of them are kind of floaters, but a lot of these actors are still kind of active in the acting world. And a lot of them, some of them still are doing smaller ranging paying films. So the opportunity to be in a full length feature film for Marvel is almost like a revigoration for their acting careers. This gives them opportunities. I heard just on a whim of just people talking in podcasts that there's a possibility like the girl that plays Jean Grey that's in Game of Thrones is going to continue being pushed to play Jean Grey. Like there's so much stuff that they could do. So I think from that, they all end up fighting and jumping into the fray, which is what they're going to do with Quantum Mania Man-Man, where they bring in all the different variations of himself. That's going to be like a test to see how it goes, like all the different variations or whatever. They're going to bring them all to fight Kang the Conqueror. All of them are going to come in to fight him, and they're all going to do fairly well. And then all of them will go back to their respected universes or be killed off or whatever. And then in that process, the Beyonder will come in and be like, wait a minute, boy, do I have something for you. And then that film will come in, Secret Wars will happen. And I think it's going to be like a fight to see who survives. So the consolidation of the Marvel universe, adding in the mutants and all of that stuff, will not be until Secret Wars. And then it'll reboot after. The whole Marvel universe will reboot because all the actors will be able to I guess they age out, all the older actors, and all the newer actors will stay, but all the older actors will be aged out. Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen, and they'll start rebooting franchises again and doing new IPs and stuff like that after Secret Wars. What if Marvel cast Brandon Fraser in the MCU? Which character? Brandon Fraser. That's the Mummy guy. I don't know. That's a good question. Who could he be? I wouldn't mind him being like there is a comic book a while back that was called X Factor. I wouldn't mind him being like Power Man or Strong Man. Sorry. Or like just any one of the big characters that he could play, like a bigger style character. So that'd be cool. That'd be answered. Oh, you know what? I take that back. What about Samson? He could play Samson, the therapist of the Hulk. That'd be really, really cool. What is it? Oh, what about that goofy ass feral villain from the X-Men? Was it the living monolith? Brandon as a monolith to poke fun at the Mummy? Yeah. Havoc? No, I mean, Havoc would be all right, but Havoc's the same age as Cyclops. If not, he's just a little bit older than him. I think Brandon Fraser back in the day, like when he was doing like what was that caveman movie that he did? The caveman or the Neanderthal man, or I can't even remember. Maybe when he was about that age, or when he played fucking Tarzan, like he would probably have done a really good Havoc. Fuck, he would have been a good Cyclops back then too. But yeah, I could see that. The Thing. Encino Man, there you go. Thank you, Gabe. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing good, bro. Welcome to 2023 with us. Yeah, that would be cool. I can see that. The Thing, I don't know, man. Vince, I wouldn't say Brandon Fraser would be a good thing. I remember, who did I say would be an awesome thing? We were talking about this about a week ago. Off the top of my man, shit, I can't remember. But you know what? That chickless guy would be awesome to come back. I think he did an amazing job as the Thing in the first movie. With his personality, I could see him as a great, strong guy. Right? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the dude is a parody of that stereotype. I mean, his name was Guido. Yeah, it was Guido. But I think he'd be a pretty good, strong guy. And not only that, I mean, of course, like in his own personal life, he's been through so much. And I think being in this opportunity where he gets to play like a really strong character, he gets to almost wear like a suit like the dude from what is it? What's that movie, dude? That the Extraordinary Gentleman, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde character, where you get to put on that big old muscle suit. That'd be cool as fuck for him to wear. So yeah, I think Strong Guy would be a really cool one. Who else do you think would be an interesting character for Brandon Fraser? Even for some reason, when you said that, I thought you meant that other guy that played Beast, the other Fraser guy. So, but that's a whole other actor. But I do have something interesting I do want to talk to you guys about. So I wanted to bring that up, of course, about Secret Wars and the introduction of hopefully getting the Beyonder. But now I want to get into something a little bit more serious. Now, this goes off of, I am a content creator. I'm also a guy who works in media. My friend Alex Aguirre, me and him run a media group called Everyday Media. We do film, we do photography, we do anything you want when it comes to advertisement. We could probably pull it off. Of course, there's some things that we probably have trouble with, which is like if you want something done in like a huge 3D or animation, it's probably something that I have to probably push my ass to do. But I'm always one of those guys that it never fails that I will push myself to learn something new if I need to. And this goes on with anybody who does content creating or anything that's an artist. Now, with that being said, I do have a question, and this also goes, Michael Bencourt, comment section, our boy Michael Bencourt is a man who helps run conventions, does his own conventions, does a lot of great things in the convention world when it comes to events and things like that. There has been an interesting growth in the last, I want to say, month or two when it comes to the idea of AI products and productions that are being put forward in the front lines when it comes to consuming, right? So we saw for a moment, I mean, there's a couple of people, I know a couple of people that have used the app and stuff like that, of people that were into like the Luma. I think the name of the program was called like Luma, or there's Midjourney. That's another one. But Vince is like, I wonder what character Adam Sandler can play in the Marvel universe. Fuck, that's a good question, man. I wouldn't even know off the top of my head. But that's something, yeah, we can probably do something like that in a little bit later. I'll totally jump into that conversation. But I do want to talk about this because it's important. Lenza, there you go. So this part of the conversation I want to get into because it's something serious. It's a discussion. It's something that I think that all of us need to comprehend and work with, being that some of the people on here that are watching, if not if you're at home or if you're on Facebook or Twitch or Twitter or wherever you're watching from, you may be a content creator yourself and you're wondering, okay, cool. Like, does AI benefit me or does it hinder me? So me, myself, like I said, I'm an artist. I've been an artist all my life. I constantly dwell in the idea of educating myself and re-educating myself when it comes to learning new techniques. And I've been fairly flabbergasted, if not, I've been fairly entertained by this growth in AI art, which is a lot of people were using a program. Lenza is the name of the program. There's other ones too. There's also Midjourney, which is another program that's very, very popular. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the other one. There's one for animation. But a lot of these things, a lot of these programs, what you can do is you can type in certain parabola or limitations or styles of art onto this AI search bar. And then you can type in a description of anything you want created, and it'll create an image in the style and the strengths of how you want it done. And it makes some pretty interesting stuff. Michael Betancourt in the conversation says, I cannot type fast enough to say how much I dislike the apps, how dangerous AI is, and what it costs and what it's costing people to use those apps. So that's an interesting part of the conversation. So the app itself costs, it's not like a 99-cent app. It's like $7, $8. But of course, there's multiple apps. There's also this app that's called, I want to say like Chat GP. I want to say Chat. Yeah, GPT. That's another app we're going to be talking about. There's three apps we're going to talk about. And it's called, I'm going to put them in the chat with you guys so you guys can check them out when you have free time. Chat GPT, Midjourney, and I guess Lenza. Lenza app, right? So that's going to be in the comment section so you guys can check it out whenever you choose. Yeah. AI make faces look weird. No, you know what looks weirder? Your fingers. Your fingers and toes end up looking weird. So these three programs, the reason why I bring them up is because they are the talk of certain things that are, I guess, controversial when it comes to conversation, when it comes to content creators and people who do their own personal art and stuff like that. And it's very interesting. So we look at, let's go with Midjourney because that's probably going to be or you know what? Let's talk with Lenza. Lenza is probably one of the newest, if not the most popular AI generated art program that's out. It's mobile. You can get it on your cell phone. You either have a rendition or have a photo of yourself. You put it through this program and it gives you 4 to 8 different variations of your character done in different anime, if not painting, if not some type of cartoon character-esque variation of yourself. So a lot of people, what they end up doing as artists is they end up using these programs, take a picture of something, put it through the program and see what it creates. Of course, that's not the problem. The problem is a lot of people, what they end up doing is doing that and then selling it as art. So Michael Betancourt says the dollars aren't the problem. People signing away their faces, their likeness, their identities as a brand away to these AI companies for free, all because they didn't read the terms and conditions. Yes, so that's something we're going to talk about also. You have to do there's a lot of stuff, a lot of things when it comes to this that are in the back of the thing. But the biggest concern is, from my opinion, is there are people out there that are, there's nothing wrong with using these programs. You can use them if you want. It's your own situation. It's when you apply it to trying to say that after you use this, you are then in some way deemed an artist. And that's where, like, with me, in my personal opinion, I think that's stupid. I think that's a dumb fucking factor to have. I've seen it before. And a lot of the times, the reason why I bring it up and the reason why Michael Betancourt plays an interesting situation in this is because there have been conventions where they've allowed people to come in and put up AI rendered art of characters from animes and whatnot. And you need a pretty keen eye to be able to tell the difference on what is an actual computer graphic image done on Procreate or done on clip art or done on Adobe Photoshop or whatever program you use when it comes to painting or whatnot digitally. And then comparing it to one of these pages where you just type in 5 words and you get an image of a character, or you take a picture of yourself and you say you want it done as this character and it comes out and then you're selling it as is. Now, what I want to do is I want to ask who's the bad guy in this, because I saw an article a while back where a booth at a convention had a tremendous amount of art all over its walls. It's 4 panels and it's 10 by 10 area. And they were selling pictures for $45. $45, saying that it was custom digital art. Buy it. This is the artist. They don't have to. They didn't have to have royalties or copyrights for any of these things, and they were claiming to be graphic artists. Now, the people that are watching, I want your opinions. Do you think being able to properly use these applications and to create, because we've seen it, man. We've seen some. I don't know if. A lot of people got fucking tricked a couple of days ago when we saw that there was like pictures of Lady Gaga in the second film for the Joker posts. And those were all AI animated films. It was AI generated programs in Midjourney. But that person had a bunch of people online that were like, oh my God, super excited. Fucking Lady Gaga looks amazing as Harley Quinn. This movie's going to be fantastic. Look at the way she looks. It looks great. And then only when you focus on the picture, you look at her hands, you look at the tattoos, you look at all the other shit around her. The mask is like in her face. She has like some plastic on her chest. And then you start realizing, hey, shit, like this doesn't look right. And it's not, because it's AI related character art. But that person then created a huge, I wouldn't say scandal, but created a huge movement online for people to see these pictures or claim that they're true or whatnot, which sent people into frenzies. People that are independent researchers that are looking out to get information about these, and they were all over the place. It's so easy for people to create this art. So easy. Couple of words, the right type of diameters or whatever. It doesn't take a lot. But do you think, or would you personally say that is art? Like, and I want to know. I just want to know people's opinion on this, because it's been freaking me out for a couple of days. Michael Betancourt says, read the Lensa TNC in the terms. The company states that once your images have been uploaded, they own your likeness in perpetuity. I can't even say that word. In perpetuity. And that means forever. Thank you. I think that Mike put in the definition after. Thank you, Mike. Helping me out. That's not certain. That's not a creation, in my opinion. It's theft. AI pulls images from across the internet and studies them, uses them, and without the original artist's permission or create AI, doesn't create truly. It illegally combines. Well, yeah, that's what it does. So in the easiest terms that I could explain this, what the picture or what the thing does is it takes and it studies a bunch of different pictures. And the more people get in there and work, you watch, like right now, the beauty thing is you get to see how AI works, which I think right now, if you go onto any one of these programs, someone will tell you, oh, well, look at their fingers. Their fingers are all fucked up and they have extra numbs and digits and all this other shit. You watch in like 6, 8, a year, a month, 4 or 5 months from now to a year, the AI is going to learn enough that there's only 4 digits and it's going to then just fix the hands. Once that is applied, it's going to be way harder for people to catch the fucking pirating of or the creation of these fake digital arts. Hey, what's up, John? How you doing, man? Corpus Christi in the house. He says, it seems similar to when musicians use an old song or a sample of an older song and make it new and labels it as original. Yeah, but in that process, sampling a song, you have to buy like the licensing. You have to head up the original artist and make sure that they're getting paid royalties and a certain amount for that on the usage of it. Yeah, there's going to be people out there that take songs, warp them, and do that, but they're going to get busted sooner or later, and then they get sued for millions of dollars. Oh yeah, well, Mike already said it. Sampling a song takes licensing, credit payment, and collaboration. AI does not do that. Yeah, that's the crazy part, is AI does not credit any of the artists. And you know what's even more fucked up is recently there's been a lot more drive for people to push on, oh, portrait of myself done in Studio Ghibli fashion, oil painting on canvas, and blah blah blah. And they start to dictate a lot of the stuff, especially when it comes to like the anime characters drawn in a more serious notion or in a certain way that they want, that a lot of the times the AI accidentally pulls and puts the signature of the artists on the painting. So you can literally see that in certain strokes that the AI is pulling from, that the sampling of the artist's actual name is there. So you know 100% that, because that was the biggest argument, is a lot of the people who were defending Lenza or whatever were saying like, no, it's not sampling, it's learning and it's creating its own. No, there's no creation. A robot does not create anything like that. It samples and it pulls from those samples, and then it's just printing. It's just printing what it knows it's doing. It's just doing what a computer does. It just prints. The craziest thing is there's a program, and I cannot remember. I saw it earlier this week, and someone was doing it. It was like a video that can actually create music based on the creator style and voice that you want. And someone did it with Drake singing some song or whatever, and it was like Drake singing a song about making toast or some shit. If we can get a computer to do that, what do we need Drake for? Like, I think it's cool. Like when an artist leaves, like in the culture that we live in, you know, Selena is like one of the biggest artists that passed away at a young age and this and that. How would you feel if someone went off and created AI songs based on Selena, the artist, and then started selling the albums for like $35? Like, how would you feel about that? They would have to pay. What would they pay? Would it be the likeness? You're not sampling any music. You're only sampling the person's voice and the beats of the songs that you end up creating off of this. Like, who do you pay, or what do you pay for that? That's such a weird thing to say. I wouldn't even know. But the reason why I say this is because I think the growth of AI in the next several years is probably going to be one of the scariest situations when it comes to jobs. And why do I say that? Because there is a huge growth of people that are becoming side hustlers / entrepreneurs and all of this other stuff, but that choose to not educate themselves in any form and matter by going to, apprentices or education in schools or getting degrees, or they're not pushing themselves into learning these things. What they're doing is they're trying to find easier ways to make that money without needing the skill in the fastest way possible, the laziest way possible. How do you make, it's like those videos that you see on TikTok that it's like the person's like, let me teach you 7 ways to sit at home and be lazy and accumulate $3,000 in wealth. And it's like, oh, well, you're going to buy soda cans from Stripes and you're just going to resell them for $2 instead of $1. and you'll sell them outside of your house rather than going to a store. You're just literally repackaging an item and selling it. That's just my opinion. Or my biggest concern is there is the program that I put up called Chat GPT. So let me see if I can find this fucking website real quick. Chat GPT. Oh, it's even down right now. Shit. Chat GPT, what that does is it is a program that has it to where you can type in something and it scripts out entire things that you need. So like if I wanted to, there's even like some weird ass fucking Chat GPT things that I saw a couple of days ago where someone literally they scripted a whole entire episode of their podcasts with it. But my biggest concern is recently I've been seeing in things, or let's say you do coding and you suck at fucking coding. Like you've never studied fucking Python. You've never studied HTML or web page or nothing like that. You can go to this program, Chat GPT, and type in, oh, okay, well, I want coding for this, this, and this. And the AI will write out a coding for you. Hey man, fucking more power to you for finding a program that does it for you. Super fucking cool. But what about the people that are out there that actually code and went to school and learned for it? And you're gonna need, like Megan, I haven't seen that movie, but you're gonna need people that have that education, because sooner or later you're gonna go in and be like, well, let me go ahead and type in this shit in OpenGPT. Let me go ahead and get all the coding that I need. You put it in your shit and it doesn't work. And then you're going to be like, oh, fuck, my website, it fucked up when I brought in this other code from this program. What do I do? Oh, well, let me hire a coder. So let's say XYZ, let's say I'm your coder. And this is just me being a businessman. The person calls me up and says, oh, hey, what's up, man? Like I have a website, we have a web page. And in the second page, the pages aren't linking up correctly because the program that I used to write the code, it didn't make it to where the pages can link. And I say, oh, okay, cool. Well, what program did you use? And the guy goes, oh, well, I did it myself. I used Chat GPT or whatever. And I look at him and I go, okay, so you never brought in a coder in anything, in any situation. And now you're bringing in a coder because you can't get it to work because the program doesn't put them together or whatever. And he goes, yeah. So if you can, just go ahead and do this. Do you think as a coder, and it being myself, that I should charge them more because now they need an actual person who is a professional at that product? And since I am losing work because of the AI program that they offered and got the 2 variations of the code for, that I should charge more now for that center job? Do you think that should be what we do? Because it's the same aspect when it comes to a graphics designer. Let's say you want to make a logo or a business or something for your company. And instead of hiring someone to bring in that opportunity and you helping a independent creator make money or an independent artist make some cash to help them going, you end up opting to go to one of these AI programs. And you end up getting something back that's casual, something that looks like a sketch or something that's very loose. And you're like, oh man, that almost got it. Let me take that to a graphics designer and have him just clean this up, and it'd be a less amount of time for him. And then you take it to the graphics designer and you say, hey, what's up, man? I have this logo. I made it in an AI generated thing. I like the way it looks. I just need some stuff cleaned up. Can you clean it up for me? And the graphics designer looks at it and goes, oh, well, yeah, I can clean it up, but it's not going to take that long. And the person goes, okay, cool. Like, well, clean it up for me. How much are you going to charge? And the guy goes, oh, I'm going to charge you $400. And the guy goes, well, what the fuck? Why the fuck are you going to charge me so much? You're just cleaning it up. And I'm like, well, you're using the app to save money, which I understand. And you know that I can clean this product up for you in a small amount of time. And I get that. But are you paying me for my time or are you paying me for my skill? Because if you're paying me for my time, I can do this in 10 minutes. But the reason why I can do that is because I am skilled in doing graphics design. You didn't pay any money to get this done. Like, you cut the idea of someone making money out of this, even myself. So you're preventing a lot of graphics designers, a lot of artists from having jobs. You're hurting the industry because you want to save a couple of bucks. in my opinion, I think that's going to be the next factor in this, is that the people will go to these AI programs to get things done like this. And other people who actually do those jobs, not being AI, are going to have to up their prices because of people not wanting to excommunicate, or not excommunicate, but hire outside sources instead of using AI. That's just my opinion. You guys could take it on that opportunity, but tell me what you guys think. Still, let me jump into the comment sections real quick so I get people's informations. John, my boy John Castillo says there are factors making actual robots, cyborg type machines. AI algorithms are in social media. Yes, they are. Correct. Michael Betancourt says, I do feel this is a hit to the concept of intellectual properties at a minimum. I create a thing, let's say a story, and I put it out in the world. And it's decent. And the AI eventually gets a hold of it and replicates what I do, and then learns from that samples of a Stephen King, Stan Lee, or Todd McFarlane creating a great story. Now, why do I need the original creator? Why pay a person when I can just reuse the AI? Have it just write every sequel of my story forever and free, just because someone can push a button. And then Robert says, of course, like the film, like Megan, that's going to happen in the future, man. I really hope not. I am so worried about this. I mean, not worried, but it's kind of like one of those things. Like, I think John literally gets it right here. He says there are self-checkout. Also, look at the Google Pay and the tap and the pay. Like, self-checkouts are a very, very good understanding on how this is probably going to work out. Sooner or later, you're just not going to need workers in the front of these stores. And it's good to have those workers in the front of stores because they can be they can help someone have a better day. It builds the character of your store itself. Let's say someone is buying some stuff and the person has a question on what they need to get. You're going to have a better chance of asking Google than you're going to have a better chance of asking the self-checkout machine. The self-checkout machine isn't going to see you buying like a NyQuil, but it's the sleep one. And then notices you're getting a bunch of other stuff that are like Alka-Seltzers and cough medicine and all this stuff, and say, hey, you know what? Like, this is the NyQuil that helps you go to sleep, but it's not the cold medicine. Were you looking for the cold medicine? Like, the AI, the self-checkout shit's not going to fucking do that for you. You need human beings to be able to help other human beings out like that. That's just my opinion. John says there are factors that make cyborg robot type machines, like the algorithm and social media. Oh, yeah, I think you already said that, or on YouTube. Yeah, but the thing is like, you look at ChatGPT, and I've been on Reddit reading up some stuff because I wanted to do some research on this stuff. And there's people that are like, oh yeah, man, I work for this lawyer, or I work for this fucking company, and I work for self-checkout didn't ring me up that PS5 as a lime. Oh, no shit. That's funny. There's people that I know that work for like different companies, and people that I've seen on Reddit and all this stuff that are like, even fucking kids that are out there that are like, oh man, I had to write this essay for English, but I was like, nah, fuck that. I went to ChatGPT and I just typed in the thing I needed, and it scripted me out a whole entire story. You're making people dumber. You're making AI smarter, which is great, fantastic. Sooner or later, AI will do your taxes and make you more money or whatnot. But like, people are looking at that stuff as an easy way out of things when they need the challenge to grow as better people and creators. That's the problem. A lot of people that use these programs are people that don't do those specific skills, which I fucking understand. But those aren't the answers when it comes to like, if you want something done in that way, because people are out there using the AI generated pictures or things like that, and they end up doing it as their company's logos and whatnot. And that's great if you go that way. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. In my opinion, I think it's a bitch thing, but it's not a bad thing, because you're just hurting other artists that are out there trying to make it. So let's say you're out there and you're like, oh man, I'm going to be a side hustler. I'm going to do real estate, or I'm going to fucking stock market, or whatever the fuck you're going to do. And you're out there saying, you know what? I'm tired of fucking working for the powers that be, or what is that fucking shit that the Matrix or whatever fucking mamada you're talking about. Like, you're out there saying the same shit, but then you're shitting on other people that are out there fucking hustling to do the same goddamn thing. You're out there using like the cheap, generic fucking cheater way of doing it, while there's other people that are out there that are struggling just the same way that are trying to hustle in their own thing. If you're going to be about it, fucking help other people out too. That's all I say. John says, why have educated people when the tablet and cell phone does it for people? Why think and learn when people can click and download or send? And it's understandable. I get it. It's faster. It's easier. It's more, I wouldn't say more reliable, but it just gets everything done. It's like Mike said, like, if I can have a whole story done, but I can have it rendered in with the idea that Todd McFarlane or fucking Stephen King, those people, like, their writing ideas are a part of this, by all means, man, fucking go for it. Maybe you get yourself some type of a blueprint, and then from there you can edit it, fix it, and do it on your own, and then, you know, fix it in the way that you need necessary. I think that's good. I think, like, let's say you need to write out, like, okay, myself, me and Michael were talking earlier this week. Screw AI, fuck him, fucking the ass. Me and Mike were talking earlier this week, and Mike says, you know what, Chris, for that project that you're thinking about, you need to get some paperwork done. And I myself am not a business savvy individual when it comes to creating contracts or files or anything like that. But looking it up, and that's what brought me into this conversation, is that I looked up the chat GPT, and it says that if I need a contract or something written out, that I can type in exactly what I want, exactly in the narration that I need, and chat GPT will give me the contract that I need. Now, will it hurt someone else's business for me to go and have someone write out that contract? Yes, it probably will. I don't really dignify on how much, but, you know, $10, $20, $30, it goes somewhere. More than likely, what I would have done is I would have looked on Windows, Office fucking 20, whatever. And I would have just gone for a template in Office. And then I would have just tried on my own and try to write it out. But I know that ChatGPT or whatever would have at least made it a little bit faster, and then I would have gone in it from there. Because in my concept, if you look at any one of these AI things to create a template and then move from there, I think that's a more opportunity idea, which is okay. But not if you're literally doing it and then trying to make money from it, if that makes sense. Which would be like, if I know I'm not a good artist, but I need to create art and then make stickers out of it or whatever, then no, man. I mean, that's stupid as hell for me. I don't know. It's just weird. I for a contract, I would just go, like I said, for like a Microsoft Office, but I know that those programs are available, but I'm not going to have them write a fucking 12-page essay for me because I don't want to fucking ganas up and balls up and just write for my college class or whatever. And that's what I'm kind of like, that's my biggest concern is a lot of these times, like once this chat GPT, whatever, learns to write stories in that format, how are colleges going to dictate when someone cheats and use like that program to write essays and then someone turns it in and plagiarizes using AI? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, where do you stop it? So that's just my opinion on it. Let me go ahead and go back to the comment section. Alex says, screw AI. Okay. I feel like we are almost going to live the game Detroit Becoming Human. Well, wow. But that deals with more of like actual having like artificial cyborgs like in our lives doing stuff. And Alex, you say it might be good for storyboarding. Okay. You're going to have to elaborate on that a little bit because storyboarding is also a skill itself. That's a job. If I could have someone come in and storyboard me a story and draw it out and give it to me, and then I can give it to my directing staff, like in large films. But AI ends up creating this program where I could just write in a couple of words and the AI will draw it out for me. Then what do I need a storyboarder for? That's just a career that I can just like scratch off and get out. You know what I mean? John Casillo says, as a buyer or supervisor or teacher, is there a way to backtrack the app when I get it and turn it or bot? That's something that's super important to me. I really think that's an important part of the conversation because like Michael Betancourt said earlier, he says, oh, well, what if I put in the story or I put in the chat or the AI thing that I want my story written and I upload a story of it, like a format, like the way I wrote it. But I say I want it written in the format or in the idea or theme of Stephen King and J.R. Tolkien or fucking Harry Potter's writer or whatever, and I want it written in those formats, and then it ends up breeding me. Hey, what's up, Danny? What's going on? Nice to see you. Happy New Year, 2023. Welcome. The AI ends up giving me a format or a page that's dedicated and written in those formats, and it literally writes it to a T. And then let's say I come in, and my publicist is like, "Hey, you know what, Chris, that story that you did was amazing. I was so blown away by it." And I tell the guy, "Oh yeah, well, I did this, and then I used this AI chat or whatever, and it worked really good." So then the director or the publisher ends up going to this fucking program and then writes in, the first story, just writes it in just by title, the first story, because it's already open knowledge out in the market and it's already open Google or whatever. And then types in the same format, in written continuation is the extra word that they put in, and then says, J.R. Tolkien, Harry Potter writer, Stephen King, sequel. And then boom, writes it out. And then all of a sudden the AI writes an entire sequel to the story I just created, that I had written, and then like a whole format or whatever. What would the publishers need me for if the AI can write the sequel to the story? That's just what I'm asking. Like, what do you do from there? Then do you then just pay minor royalties to the person who wrote the original story and then continue on? Or do you publish the entire story, leave the story writer out, and just make money without having to have a middleman in that situation? What do you think would be the best possible thing in that situation as an artist, as an author, as a person? What do you look forward to in that situation? I want to know, and I need to see that in the comment sections, because that blows my fucking mind. That literally does. That literally blows my mind. So where this came up, maybe AI will make a better Boba. Yeah, well, I hope so, man. I hope it makes a better Boba Fett series. That's funny. Pay royalties or get registered at or trademark in your name. Well, that would be the thing, right? Like, so once you create that story, you put it out on the market, and let's say like John Castillo makes like a story called I Live in Corpus, right? Like, you live in Corpus. Let's say you make that story, and then you go to that, someone goes to that AI and types in I Live in Corpus book, author John Castillo, in theme of Stephen King. And then it pops out a whole entire story, 180 pages of the same characters that are in your original book. And it just creates a whole different genre of your book. But let's say your publicist then says, "Hey, well, John, I know you wrote this other book, your part 2, but the one that this AI wrote was really good. And I don't got to pay you the thousands of dollars in the hours that you spent in writing your book, because this thing did it in 5 minutes. I think I'm just going to go with that one, but we're going to give you royalties to your first one, since the publisher owns your trademark, since they own the character and they own the story, because you're blanketed under our publishing company." Like, what do you do from there? Because that's even harder. So the other reason why I wanted to talk about this was there was a really funny video I saw. And what it was here we go. If you guys know anime, I love anime. There's the artist that does The Way of the Household Husband. He also does One Piece. He's one of the characters. He's one of the artists that did One Piece a while back, but he has Way of the Household Husband. And recently, before the New Year's came, he did a video where he used AI in a sketch, and there was some up in arms. Some people were about it and some people were against it, but I wanted to show you the video. And of course, this is to me just an artist having fun, messing with the program. I believe he uses Lenza. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the video, but look at what he does. It's kind of witty. It's kind of fun. It's only for the series of art. He's not really doing anything about it, but he's just playing with the program. So here we go. So a quick sketch he does of his character. And then he ends up putting it in the AI program. and it gives him all of these different characters. Of course, it's got the hat. Of course, these are right into a female because the idea of all these sketches are mostly all female characters on the AI program that's featured on. But even funnier, dude, it makes this little chibi character, that one, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go with that one. I think it's so funny." So he draws Luffy, and it's the character versus Luffy. And then that's, of course, Luffy's character in the same AI program. So yeah, that I just wanted to show that. I thought it was really witty and funny. As an artist using the AI program, that's kind of fun, has its moments, but he got a little backlash for it. And the reason why is because after he did that program, a lot of people started talking about the uses of AI in the comic book and manga world. And in that process, you look it up, and I'll show you this part. There's a comic book that's been recently released not too long ago, Cyberpunk Peach John, where this person used nothing but Midjourney to create the comic book, like to create the comic book panels and all this other stuff. And it's a webtoon or whatnot that this person is using, but he's doing it literally just using Midjourney. So you can see where, like, if you look at the character's hands here, they're like mended together. The background of this character, it's not even well done. It's faded out. It's mended together with all the Cybertronic stuff. This looks very organic in the sense of it being like a structure made of meat when you look at it, and things like that. And you can see the wiggles in the line and stuff like that. This person is mended and his legs are crossed they're mended together on the top. You know, the fingers are still messed up. I mean, you can see there's image. You can see there's image there, but these are 100% created in Midjourney. No art, nothing has been dictated in it or whatever. And this person's releasing comic books with that type of art being used. Now, in that sense, do you claim that this person is a comic book artist, a comic book creator? Or are they a person who's just copying and pasting photos on a page? Like, what would you title this as? What career move is this? I want to know, because I want to understand where we go from here. Because me, as an artist, I like to draw. I've always wanted to create comic books. I've always wanted to do that stuff. And to see that there's a program that could possibly do it in a fraction of the time with a person who can, you know, a younger generation of child that's so used to the Google mentality that can word search and constantly think of all the different thesaurus words to be able to find different images or create different images in different styles and use these programs more proficiently than I can. The growth of the AI taking the program later, you know, a year down the road, that can then dictate faces better and mend them quickly, can mend the 3D dimensional backgrounds of the, you know, creating foreground, background, and center ground. Like, where do you go? But the thing is like with that, like Vince says, oh, they might just call it AI artist, but where's the artist part? That's the question is, where's the artist part? An artist is someone who like dwells into that format and then creates it from nothing, where this person is literally using a search engine to type in words that they want to see. Like, it's such a weird, almost spiritual kind of concept. I don't know. It's so awkward for me to understand. And I'm just trying to comprehend this because I want to understand it. I really do. Vince says, if AI advertises down the road, they will do movies where actors that pass away. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. That's wild to me also, man. Michael Betancourt says, we already had someone try this back when we got Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within. I remember people saying that those CG actors were supposed to replace the real ones. Yeah, and then that didn't go so well, yeah, because that movie was by far not taken in even at all. And then he says the comic book artist is maybe a writer if they wrote the story, but that definitely didn't draw that. A computer mashed everything together, yeah. Well, look at the comic book and look at the comics and animation. If there's more pen and paper and pencil or a computer generated graphic, that's the thing. Like, if it was a computer generated graphic, it still takes an artist to create that graphic. Like, it still takes someone to create it from just a blank sheet of paper to get the lines behind it and to dictate what it is. Like, is that what these people are doing, or are they writing in the words and the computer is then creating that image for them? It's just doing as it's told. It's doing a math problem in the computer's word, but the person behind it is the one that's trying to use that for their advantage. And then John says, or actually Michael Bentor, just because an oven baked cookies, we don't call it a baker. Gee, it's really good. Fucking Michael Bentor, that's a good conversation. Yeah, but what I want to know is, I want to make it, because as an artist, I can speak as an artist. And I think there's cool opportunity for this. And how do I think there's cool opportunity is, if you're an artist and you know exactly what you're looking for, you can type something in, and then from there you can fix it and move it around and do whatever you want to, dictate it where it goes and move the picture around or whatnot. You can create a reference. It's what we use when we use little characters, and we use that as an image that we can reference for the same, for the amalgamation of the characters we are designing. We'll take something like that, we'll break it down and be like, okay, cool, like we're using it as a reference or a sheet reference. You even have those options in your drawing programs to bring in full-length pictures into it. Like, this would be the same concept as if I said, I'm going to take a picture of myself in a pose, and I put that in a drawing program, and I trace over myself to get that image. Am I cheating, or am I just using the tools to my advantage? Right? Am I using that as a tool to benefit me and make it a lot easier? So I think if you can use it as a tool, that's great. But if you're using it and calling it your works, I think that's 100% where I go wrong, because I talked to one guy that just recently released it. And I guarantee you guys have probably seen these images too. It was this like a very Greek style imagery of animals as like Greek character statues. And you guys can tell me you saw it, because it was all over the internet for a little bit. And I found the person who made that, and I commented on their page because I wanted a comment from them. And I put, okay, man, for reals, how much is you and how much is Midjourney? Because he didn't even put up that it was Midjourney that he used. And he was like, oh man, this was me at 14 hours and me using Midjourney with like 200 plus words. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, if you use 200 plus words in Midjourney to create a picture, you did 0 to nothing in dictating that picture. You did 0 to nothing, because that's like a lot of detail that you're giving that computer to work on. You're giving it enough information that it's going to make you masterpieceful shit if you're putting 200 words in it. Now, what Midjourney is Midjourney is an application on Discord. It's an app on Discord, which is a chatting service for a lot of gamers and a lot of people on chats and stuff like that. And you go into the program, you become a part of the Discord for Midjourney. And then from there, you're able to type in exactly what you want. And you're using a comma per word to separate what you want. I got to fuck with it a little bit. It's kind of weird. I kind of lost interest in like 20 minutes. But I could see where you could use that for really good references. But you could see also, like if I type in, I'm going to find that shit real quick. Animals in Greek statue pose mid. Yeah, watch this bitch gonna come up real quick. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, I'll have to find it later. I'll put it up somewhere else. But yeah, if you're putting up 200 fucking words and then putting it out there and making it your art, that's just not your art. It doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck how many words you type in this program. Like, you ain't drawing shit. You're not an artist. You're just a dude that writes shit. You're a professional search engine worker or whatever. I don't know what the fuck it's called, but Michael Betancourt says, as for the tools, there's nothing wrong with using your tablet and the Apple Pen to draw digital art. That is art you're creating, actually drawing. But then an AI finds every piece of Godzilla and every pic of Batman to make a Batzilla via a mashup, then that's crap. Yeah, it's just you being a professional search engine imaginator or whatever. Jeremy says, I think it's here and we have to deal with it. That's 100% correct. I'm not arguing with that. That's the sucky. I mean, not the sucky part. It's there. You're right. And as an artist, we just have to We just have to have what the connection with our audience, but by my work, because I came up with it and with my own imagination and my own time. Our art sells itself, regardless if it's good or if it's not. AI will just be a tool. But again, remember that AI is taking hundreds and thousands of artists' real work and making it its own because someone typed in words of what they wanted. It's really hard because, I mean, Jeremy went to art school with me. He was right there, like alongside. He knows exactly where I'm coming from. It's hard to kind of comprehend the idea of what it is. If AI is a tool or if it's just the next evolutionary thing in man. Is it okay? Is it a tool or is it our version of Netflix to Redbox? Will AI eventually take over the idea that we don't need human beings to create art? And not only that, it's been one of the major conversational points when it comes to film and all that shit. Because you look at iRobot and all this other stuff, and you look at all these things, and it's like, oh, well, does AI dream? Do cyborgs dream? Can they paint a picture? Oh, that's the idea. If you're looking at the word print to paint, can a computer print a picture? Yeah. If you told the computer to print a picture and you gave it an exact thing, can it print it? Yeah, it can. But can it paint one from its imagination? I don't think so, because there's no idea of what an imagination is, because a robot doesn't have feelings. What it has is it processes the idea, or it uses words for mathematical equations, and then dictates at the end what imagination is, or what fear is, or what love is. It really doesn't understand it at an emotional level or an emotional spectrum like human beings do. So Michael Betancourt says, I think a reason I get so salty as I do with this is in the same deal why I got angry around 2015 with my career field. Advertising became a programmable redo a thing that came before. So I had people tell me to my face that I wasn't needed, all because they prepackaged programming was going to do their ads for them. That's a very interesting point. That's a very, very interesting point. And that's kind of like what I said right now is AI our new Netflix to Redbox? Because, or Netflix to Blockbuster, or all that stuff? Is this the next evolutionary step that, because man, dude, I fucking see it coming where sooner or later publishing companies that want to just create books and slam out ideas and do this shit, sooner or later, you're not going to need writers. You're not going to need people who went to college and learned how to write in different formats and different styles. You're not going to need those people because the computer's going to be able to do that all for you. It's wild, man. It's a wild sense of where we are going in the future. But yeah, guys, it's 11:24. I actually went 20 fucking 4 minutes farther than where I wanted to go. But I want to say this was an interesting conversation. I want to say thank you to everybody that joined in the conversation with us today. I really appreciate every one of you. Brian, if you're out there in the world, I miss you, dog. That was awesome. But thank you for letting me have this one solo day to give this a try. Michael Betancourt said, I worked for Blockbuster when Netflix killed us. Closing those stores was very sad. There's something about it, right? Because even right now, with the idea of Blockbuster being closed and a lot of people missing it, when was the last time you used your DVD player? That's a pretty interesting. It changed the fabric of the way that we absorb information. Right now, I think the next Blockbuster is the cinema. And I think streaming services, I've said this before a million times, even when the coronavirus happened, I was so happy that they started bringing actual movies to households through streaming services. And I think that'll eventually kill the cinema experience. So interesting. AI is such a leading factor, such a moving situation in our societal presence. I think the idea of AI is a crazy situation. Sooner or later, I think it's going to hinder a lot of people, but that's going to change the way that we as artist entrepreneurs or digital creator entrepreneurs pursue careers and the way we pursue to get paid. Sooner or later, the idea of someone being an actual artist, painting and touching brush to the canvas, is going to be paid as much as a doctor. because of the fact that it's just so real, so nostalgic that people will pay top dollar just to have that done. That'll be amazing. Maybe that's the evolutionary push that the starving artist needs, is the idea that AI came and took from us all of the miniature jobs, that only real artists will succeed later on in the future. People who actually delve into the art. I don't know. It's just something interesting, but I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning into the show today. I really appreciate every one of you for being here with me on the podcast. To all our extraordinary listeners, I appreciate every one of you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with me, joining me on my solo podcast today. I appreciate every one of you. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Go out there and enjoy yourselves, get some sun, get some exercise, do some great shit. And I'll see you guys again next Friday here on the Average Boys Podcast. I'll see you later. Peace.